Good afternoon and welcome here to Guiseley AFC Radio. Today we are at Edgeley Park. It's a big game, Stockport County versus the Lions in the Vanarama Conference North. A game in which the Lions will be looking to cement their place near the top of the table. In second place, of course, at the moment. Stockport County, though, hot on their trail after 19 games. They sit in 6th position, just outside of the playoffs. This is going to be a very, very tough afternoon here at Edgeley Park. I'm Colin Robertson. Alongside me this afternoon is Tom Feaheny. We'll also be hearing from Nik Keefe, A.D. Towers and Tom Swallow as well. So we're going to have a full complement of people here today. First of all, an afternoon welcome to you, Tom, and you'll be looking forward to this game, no doubt.
Yeah, good afternoon. And yes, I have. You know, you look at the stadium, the way the media team's been treated as well since we came in has been brilliant, and the players look up for this game as well. It's a big game, and you know, if we could get 3 points today, it puts us in a fantastic position. We'll still be second, but we'll be, when you look at what Stockport and Fowl did on Tuesday, it just helps us maintain that second place. And
this is a tough game, isn't it? Because you look at the former Stockport County, unbeaten at home since the opening day of the season, in the league, that is. They lost at North Ferriby United, but since then they've been getting some great results here at Edgeley Park, and they've beaten some good sides, and even a tough draw against Fylde last Tuesday night. So this is a very tough place to come.
Yeah, they're making it a fortress, and I think we beat them very convincingly at Nethermoor Park, but that was very early on in the season, and their media guy was actually saying that really they hadn't got the squad together at that point. The manager didn't know the best 11, and for the last 2 months he's known that best 11. He's put it out week after week, and they've kept getting the results. So it will be a very tough game today. It's great to see the Guiseley away support today as well. They've made the journey, and they're going to see the whole match, which is a positive after what happened on Tuesday. But it is just, you know, hopefully we can get the 3 points and end the hoodoo of losing at big stadiums.
Let's just go down that team lineup then for the Lions. Obviously, there's been 2 changes that have had to be made today, with Danny Lowe and Wayne Brooksby both serving suspensions. There was a concern over Ollie Johnson's fitness after the midweek tie against Rushall Olympic, but he makes the starting 11. Stephen Drench in goal, Ryan Tilson, Ben Parker, Shane Killock, Danny Ellis, Jake Lawler, Nicky Boschel, Danny Boschel, Adam Boys, Ollie Johnson and Gavin Rothery, who's actually down on the team sheet as Gary Rothery today. AD's handwriting obviously not up to the task. Andy Holdsworth, Steve Dickinson, Luke Porritt and Jack Stockdill and Alex Johnson on the bench. So a good, strong lineup, even though we've had to make those 2 changes. It'll be a big loss, won't they, Danny Lowe and Wayne Brooksby?
Yeah, and I think when you look at Wayne Brooksby, the form he's been on in the last couple of games, he really will be a miss. Danny Lowe, it's another experienced head missing, but I think you look at that defence, it's a very strong defence with them 4 players, a lot of experience in there. And yeah, we're just going to have to make the best of what we've got. We have got a couple missing, but I think it is a squad that can get a result today.
Well, 10 minutes to go before kick-off. Let's just get the thoughts of A.D. Towers, who is sat in front of us at this rather sophisticated press area that we have here. We'll just have a quick with him. Afternoon, A.D.
Afternoon.
So, just give us a quick rundown. Obviously, we couldn't make it to Rushall Olympic on Tuesday night. You did an excellent job with the commentary and the highlights during the week. What do you make of the last 7 days?
Well, I mean, I think I thought we were unlucky on Saturday not to turn over Rushall, particularly in the first half, but they put a great shift in against us at our place. Down there on Tuesday, an absolutely awful pitch and with a very sparse crowd, freezing cold night. Went behind early on, which could have been a problem, but thereafter actually equalised, having played some nice stuff for about half an hour. Went in front early in the second half. And with the exception of the penalty which the referee gave and Drenchy saved, in truth we deserved to win. Rushall were decent again, very hard working, but it was a workmanlike and professional performance from us, so I thought we deserved to progress overall. As has been said, a little bit of a problem here today because of Wayne and Danny Lowe's suspensions, both for picking up 5 cautions, which is almost inevitable with the number of games they've had. It's inevitable you'll get a couple of people on 5 cautions. So, but Ben Parker back, Ollie Johnson come through his fitness test before the game, and a strongish bench. So, you know, this will be hard today, but the fact is our starting 11 is a very strong starting 11, and then we'll just see where we go.
Yeah, tough place we were talking about to come anyway, but certainly with memories last year as well of this Stockport game that we had where we were 3-1 up and Phil Jevons produced that wonder show to pull it back to 3 each. Play on the minds of the lads, do you think?
No. If I'm honest, I don't think footballers think past the last game. I know it's a similar squad, but the Stockport squad's much changed from last year as well. So no, I think footballers, except for individual superstitions around where they sit on buses or which way around they wear their underpants, don't actually, they have little regard to what's gone before.
Do they get the underpants on the right way?
Or not, but yes.
That's a test we'll have to leave there for the moment. Well, thanks, AD, anyway. Great to have you here with us this afternoon. We will be bringing you full live match commentary. First, we'll be hearing from Nik Keefe for the first half of this game. We'll be taking you through the first 45 minutes. The two sets of players are beginning to line up. The teams are just about to come out, and you can probably hear there's a good crowd gathering here, Tom. We're expecting about 2,500, aren't we, today? 2,700 here.
Yes.
So it'll be quite an intimidating atmosphere.
Yeah, it's a really good atmosphere at Stockport, and they pack 2,000 fans in. They make plenty of noise. They make it difficult for the away side, and I think they're beginning to make this ground a bit of a fortress. They've gained a lot of victories here since the season started, apart from the first game. And if guys can just look past the atmosphere, get playing the football that they can play, guys have got a good chance today.
Well, we certainly hope they'll pick out the result this afternoon that we're looking for, but there's plenty of other games as well going on in the Vanarama Conference North, and there'll be scorelines that we'll be keeping you up to speed with. Let's just quickly run through those. Boston versus Brackley this afternoon. Obviously, you've got to fancy Boston United to get 3 points there. Brackley struggling this season. Chorley, who we were drawn against in the FA Trophy, they entertain Colwyn Bay. A.F.C. Fylde entertain Stalybridge Celtic. Gainsborough Trinity take on Barrow. So another game we'll be keeping a close eye on. Maybe Danny Forrest can pop up with a goal.
Well, we're going to say that was a transfer. When Danny Forrest left, it was maybe he can be our little secret agent. He can get a couple of goals against some of the bigger teams and help us out, and maybe get that automatic promotion place.
Pre-Christmas, Yorkshire derby between Harrogate Town and Bradford Park Avenue this afternoon. Hyde take on North Ferriby. Hyde having a wretched time at the moment, aren't they? North Ferriby will certainly think they get 3 points out of that, but you can never tell in football. Leamington entertain Hensford. Solihull are at home to Lowestoft, and then of course here Stockport versus Guiseley. So a few standout games in that crowd, Tom. Match of the day, other than this one? This has to be match of the day, isn't it?
Well, this is match of the day in my opinion. I think Harrogate Town v Bradford Park Avenue, because it's a local derby and because you've got two sides that are in a very precarious position. They could, if Bradford Park Avenue lose today, they could end up in the relegation places. Harrogate Town, they're nearer to the relegation places than they are to the top. So two sides that need to pick up a bit of form, and at the moment they're struggling, so it's a big game there. Yeah,
Simon Weaver and John Deasy, two managers under great pressure at the moment. You can probably hear the Lions and Stockport County both making their way onto the pitch. Alan Lord very complimentary about Guiseley when they were beaten 3-0 earlier on this season, but certainly something we can't take into account. This is a Stockport County side that have grown in strength across the course of the season, and since their opening day defeat to North Ferriby, like we say, have gone unbeaten at home in the league all the way through to December. So this afternoon hopefully we can change that record and perhaps get something out of Edgeley Park in what is only our second ever visit here. The last season, as we were talking with AD Towers, it turned out to be a 3-3 result, 3-1 up we were at one point in that game. Phil Jevons, the main man that changed things over, and we are certainly now just waiting for the kick-off. The two sides will go through. I think Nick will go through those in a minute. Two sides just shaking hands in the centre circle. So I'll hand over to Nick. We'll be speaking again sort of midway through the first half, as we just confirm what we're going to do up here in the very professional media team that we have here on Guiseley AFC Radio. But for your commentary for the first part of this game between Stockport County and Guiseley, it's over to Nik Keefe.
Thank you, Colin. Good afternoon. Welcome to Guiseley AFC Radio. You join us if you are just coming to our link, listening to our live event on YouTube. You join us at Edgeley Park. The Hatters hosting the Lions. And a little bit of a thin crowd, actually, truth be told, at the moment. We were expecting a really good turnout in here, but just at the moment, not a massive one at the moment. Guiseley and Stockport County have just shaken hands, and they're now gathering for a photograph. I think this is part of the Football Remembers campaign, or kind of memorial marking procedures that are taking place at the moment across football in England, and so both teams standing mingled amongst each other and having their photograph taken with the young Stockport County mascots and the officials just in front of us here at the main stand, and lots of proud parents taking photos, and really good marking of the importance of things more important than being partisan at this time of year, Tom.
Yeah, most definitely. I think at the end of the day, it's a game of football, and there are, like you said, off the field there's a lot more important things, and very important that all the teams respect that, and all the players they've all got in that photo. It's a nice occasion just to mark it, and now let's get onto the football, and let's get the 3 points.
So the team's lining up at the moment, and the Guiseley players are lining up away to our left in front of the main stand, and they'll be defending the goal nearest the travelling support, who are diagonally opposite away to our left. And Stockport will be defending the goal in front of the very large end stand, the end terrace where most of the fans are, the opposite end not used since Stockport joined the Conference North. And you'd imagine that'd be the way round that Stockport would like to play. They want to attack the goal in front of that huge home following that they hope to have in there by the second half. And as the captains are shaking hands and further photos are being taken with the mascots in the centre circle, it gives me a moment to go down today's team lineups. Firstly, the home side, Stockport County, line up with Danny Hurst in goal. And then 2 to 11, Mark Lees, Andy Owens, Chris Churchman, Daniel Gregson, Stephen O'Halloran, Richie Baker, Lee Stevenson, Scott Spencer, the captain Jamie Milligan, and Chris Sharp. On the bench they've got number 12 Nathan Wolfe, number 13 Ian Ormson, number 14 Jordan Fagbola, number 15 Glenn Belezica, and number 16 Charlie Russell. And then for the Lions, as the teams are actually swapping halves in front of me as we speak, so I'll throw that theory out of the window, or maybe Guiseley won the toss, I don't know. But in the goal for Guiseley, of course, Stephen Drench. Right back Ryan Tulson, left back and the captain today Ben Parker. The centre back pairings of number 4 and 5 Shane Killock and Danny Ellis. In central midfield Jake Lawler and Danny Boschel. And then the three forwards behind the striker today will be Nicky Boschel wearing the number 7, Ollie Johnson, who passed his late fitness test, in number 10, and Gavin Rothery. I've tripped over it as well, unbelievably. Gavin Rothery wearing the number 11, and of course Adam Boys up front, as the referee prepares to blow the whistle. And there it goes. Stockport County taking the kick-off, and AD's informed us from the row in front that actually Guiseley won the toss, and that's why they're going to make Stockport attack that empty stand in the second half, and that's a smart decision potentially by Guiseley, who get to in the meantime attack towards the end where their travelling fans are in this first half. And Stephen Drench has the ball at the moment, plays it long off the head of Adam Boys, and Nicky Boschel runs onto it. It's so strange seeing someone else wearing the Guiseley 7 shirt. It's almost always Wayne Brooksby. Obviously only missed one game all of last season. It's very odd to see anybody else wearing that shirt. Yeah, and he'll be a big loss today because obviously he's got that suspension. It's just scrapping on the edge of the area as Boschel plays it off to Gavin Rothery, who's just entering the edge of the area on the left-hand side, but it's the shot is charged down that he was trying to get away with his left foot, and it'll be a throw-in to be taken by the captain, Ben Parker. Gives you a moment to tell you the substitutes today. Andy Holdsworth, Luke Porritt, the youngster from the academy, recalled from loan, Jack Stockdale, the returning from injury Alex Johnson, and Steve Dickinson, of course, the reserve keeper. Danny Ellis heads clear from deep inside his own half as Stockport try and build something to go forward here. Chris Sharp plays the ball off Danny Ellis for a throw-in to be taken by Richie Baker. Baker throws it, looking for no one in particular over the top, and it's easy for Ben Parker to head away. Baker has another try, plays it forward. Stockport working it on the right-hand edge of the area, this time with Chris Sharp, and he's trying to get past Ben Parker, who sticks to his task, and Parker's sort of pushed down onto his back by the oncoming Sharp. The referee gives the free kick. Well played there by Parker, because Sharp's trying to just get the ball through his legs, make sure that doesn't happen, and I think Sharp gets a little frustrated there. It's just a push to the floor, free kick to Guys, and quite rightly so. And so Stephen Drench is going to take this free kick just outside the left-hand edge of his penalty area. in front of the home fans, kicking towards the empty away stand that also houses the iconic Stockport County scoreboard here at Edgeley Park. Early goal in Solihull versus Lowestoft. Solihull have got a 1-0 lead up against the Suffolk side, and Hensford have taken an early goal at Leamington as well. As Stockport County move forward, shot from Scott Spencer, but no real danger. Stephen Drench comfortably watches that past the post. Gosh, there's a lot of early goal flashes in the Vanarama Conference North. Distracted again, Bradford Park Avenue have gone 1-0 up at Harroga's. That's 3 goals inside the first few minutes of each of those games. We're less than 3 minutes underway here. It's an exciting afternoon already in the Conference North.
Well, let's hope there's some goals here too.
Yeah, let's hope for several for Guiseley and not so many equalisers as last time. We've also got a note from the Guiseley AFC community guys asking us to mention that we're doing food bank collections for the Otley Food Bank. That's happening on 2 dates at the next 2 Guiseley home games. So I think that's Chorley next Saturday and Leamington the week after that. So fantastic cause, really important, supporting the most needy people in our area, in our community. And if you'd like to contribute to that, collections will be taking place at those 2 home games. Guiseley knocking it forward and easy for Stockport to cut out. The game just being played in the middle third of the pitch at the moment, and neither team having had a chance to carve out an opportunity worth the name yet. Shane Killock plays it long, looking for Adam Boys, but it's a long way between Boys or Nicky Boschel. It's just scrapping around in midfield. One ball coming over the top. Ellis is beaten to it by the number 11 Sharp. And Danny Boschel tries to hook it clear, only as far as Nicky Boschel, but he's beaten to it by Chris Churchman. And Stockport have the ball on the edge of the area with Stevenson. And they're just working it out left, and Ollie Johnson's had to come all the way back, almost to the corner flag, to win the ball. And he's cleverly uses his body to make a bit of space and then turn and hook it clear, Tom.
Fantastic play there by Johnson, and good persistence as well. Made sure he kept it in play. Nice pass, finds Boschel, and then Stockport kick it out for a throw. And it just shows you how, if Ollie Johnson hadn't made that run, Stockport could have been in a good position. Instead, guys, to get the throw.
Absolutely, and just for those of you who like me are always interested in who's playing where in the 3 behind Adam Boys. At the moment, Nicky Boschel started out wide on the right, as you'd expect, I suppose, in the number 7 shirt. Ollie Johnson has been slightly deeper than Adam Boys, and Gavin Rothery's out on the widest of the left of those at the moment. Ball long over the top looking for Adam Boys, but it's easy to collect for Danny Hurst. Just takes a moment in his bright green keeping jersey and bright green socks, black shorts. He kicks it long looking for the tall Chris Sharp. That's the second time he's beaten Danny Ellis to the ball in the air, although this time he's adjudged to have fouled the Guiseley defender. And Stephen Drench will just trot forward out of his penalty area to take a free kick almost on the edge of the centre circle.
Yeah, I think that's the correct call there by the referee. Sharp just going in a little bit too eager there. Catches Ellis and free kick to Guiseley.
6 minutes into this game, nothing of any great excitement yet. Ollie Johnson tries to bring the ball under control. He goes out of play, but he does win the throw, which he takes quickly to the right back Ryan Tulson, whose cross is poor. It's easy for Stockport to hook clear, but only as far as that man Tulson, again wide on the right. The ball goes through the middle, looking for Adam Boys. He's onto it. Hooks it through, coming behind him from over his shoulder. Really difficult shot to get away. And from where we were for a second there, it looked like that was going into the top left-hand corner of the net, Tom.
Well, just fantastic work there by Ollie Johnson. Lovely flick, finds Adam Boys. And just for a second, like you were saying, I thought that was going in the top corner. Just goes wide. First real chance for Guiseley, but a positive start for the Lions.
Yeah, it was a really nice chance. Toulson it was who played a clever ball through to Ollie Johnson, who hooked it on first time to Boys to run onto. And Boys are trying to run onto another now as the home fans are asking for a free kick that's not given by the referee. Danny Hurst with a weak clearance with his left foot, only as far as Ryan Toulson, who's encroaching on the Stockport half, but he's forced to turn around and play it back to his defence in the form of Danny Ellis, who uses Shane Killock alongside him, and Guiseley have worked the ball all the way back to the edge of their own area before Ellis plays it long, looking for Nicky Boschel, who flicks it up and turns and finds Gavin Rothery to his left, who plays it further out wide to Ben Parker on the overlap. Parker towards the edge of the area. He's cut in field. He's carrying on into midfield. Not decided who he's trying to find yet with the ball, and in the end it's a half-hearted effort as the left back is stumbling, trying to find Ollie Johnson, but easy for Stockport to bring away, and they do, with Spencer, who's bearing down on Shane Killock on the edge of the area inside, and to Richie Baker, who tries to get the shot away. It comes off the foot, the studs of the boot of Danny Boschel, and out for a Stockport county corner, the first corner of the game.
Well, it just shows you how dangerous Stockport are, because guys who were on the ascendancy there, they were attacking. Ben Parker, it's a bit of a loose pass, and within about 10 seconds Stockport get a corner, and they'll have to defend it well, Guiseley.
Yeah, so everybody inside the Guiseley area bar Ollie Johnson, who's on the edge of the centre circle, and all the tall players forward for Stockport County. Stephen Drench trying to get the referee's attention. He's being blocked, and Danny Ellis is trying to shield him as the ball comes in. Ellis it is who heads it away out wide, goes out for a throw in on the right. It's a goal in the Hyde game. They have gone 1-0 up against North Ferriby United at home. Stockport take the throw in, and trying to crowd out that man Stevenson is Ben Parker. He's now back in position. So guys who will be starting it again from deep inside their own half. Ben Parker will be looking to get a throw with a little bit of distance, but at the moment every Guiseley man inside their own half. He plays it looking for Adam Boys, who tries to flick it on. It somehow comes away loose to Jake Lawler, who sprays it out wide into space for Ryan Toulson, who has time to look, and he finds Nicky Boschel on the halfway line. Boschel plays it back to Toulson. Toulson over the top this time for Ollie Johnson, who's beaten to it in the air, and Stockport tidy up in midfield. This time with Mark Lees on the right, and he clears under pressure from Boys and finds the head of his striker, Spencer, and he can't control it. And a couple of loose passes from either side give Stephen Drench the ball back in his hands, and he's waving the players up the field. Leeds United are 1-1 away to Ipswich for any fans of non-proper football who are listening to us today, but all the scores that matter we've already given you. Stockport just moving it around on the edge of their own area, and it was Chris Churchman dallying on the ball. Adam Boys closing down well, as any Guiseley fan would know he does, has brought an opportunity here for Ollie Johnson, who's on the edge of the box, running past his man, squares it into the area.
Yes!
It's finished by Nicky Boschel. A tap in from 2 yards out for the Guiseley striker, coming into the side today to replace Wayne Brooksby. Enormous excitement here in the box. Almost threw me out of my commentary stride, boys. But after just on 10 minutes of this game, it's Guiseley 1, Stockport County 0.
Well, fantastic play there by Ollie Johnson. I got a little bit excited, but Ollie Johnson, fantastic play, gets into the area. It's a brilliant cross, and Nicky Boschel, right place, right time. 1-0 Guiseley, come on.
I was just taking a moment to recover from that. So I felt like someone had just clubbed me round the head. You're aware that I'm wearing headphones, Tom. If you shout into the microphone, it hurts my ears. It was a lovely goal. It was all came about from that closing down by Adam Boys, who robbed possession from Churchman, and with the resulting, I'll tell you what, Ollie Johnson's just robbed a player of possession again, and he's found Adam Boys wide on the right. Boys turns back to Danny Boschel. To Ryan Toulson, hugging the touchline. Guiseley deep inside the Stockport half again to Nicky Boschel on the edge of the area. Lays it off to Ollie Johnson, but it's just a little bit too high for Johnson to collect as he runs past, and Stockport bring it away. I was going to say it was a clever bit of play that led to Johnson getting the ball and that fantastic cross. But as we speak, Gavin Rothery is running at the Stockport defence, and a really poor, lazy challenge from Danny Gregson, just leaving his leg out there, taking down Rothery. Gives Guiseley a really dangerous free kick, actually, just a few yards from the D on the edge of Stockport's penalty area, just left of centre. Would have been made for Wayne Brooksby, this.
Yeah, it's really good play by Gavin Rothery. I'm just going to apologise for the loudness I had when the ball went in, but it has been brilliant play by Guiseley so far. And Stockport, they look a little bit rattled at the minute. I think they thought that they were going to take control of this game, and it hasn't happened so far, but Danny to take this.
Yeah, as we speak, Danny Boschel is measuring this free kick. There are 3 men in the wall. Hurst is at the far post. And Boschel strides up to take this, and he plays it short along the ground, square to Gavin Rothery it is, who lines it up, takes a shot with his left foot. It takes a deflection through, and there's a Guiseley corner. Well worked that, actually. It looked for all the world like Danny Boschel was going to hit that with his instep, right until the point where he side-footed it square to Rothery. Just didn't have quite enough pace on it to allow Rothery to shoot at the first attempt, and had to move it onto his left and shoot there instead. Nonetheless, 12 minutes gone. Guiseley have their first corner of the game. Swung in now with the left foot of Nicky Boschel, and it's looking for Jake Lawler, the tall man, inside the area. It's hooked clear. Ryan Toulson has it again now on the right, forward to Nicky Boschel, but it's a poor pass from the Guiseley right back, giving it away really to Stockport, and they start again with Andy Owens. Shane Killock heads it out for another throw-in. Stockport have gained about 20 yards in the process. And when Owens takes this time, he'll be, in fact, by the time he's finished trotting up, he'll virtually be over the halfway line. And Guiseley do have to do some defending now as Stockport get into their half. Again, running at their defence now is Stevenson towards the edge of the area. It's out wide left, and Danny Ellis is out trying to intercept it. The ball comes into the box, but Stevenson's been well watched. Couldn't even really jump for the ball. It was a little bit too high up for him, and in the end sails harmlessly away. There was another goal flash, wasn't there, Colin? You were showing me. There was was it the filed one? Well, as we speak, actually, Solihull have gone 2-0 up against Lowestoft and filed a 1-0 up against Stalybridge Celtic. That's a home game for Filed.
I just think, just with that little attacking piece of play there by Stockport, for Guiseley, it's just no silly mistakes. They've got the lead. Stockport look a little bit rattled, but when Toulson gave that ball away, then all of a sudden Stockport were getting the throw-ins and trying to get into a positive position. They can take advantage of any mistakes that are made. So for Guiseley, just play it simple for now. Don't make any silly errors. Don't let Stockport back into the game.
And at the moment, Stockport do have it, crossing the halfway line forward to Spencer, who's got his back to goal, finds Lees out on the wide right, back to Baker. Guiseley trying to squeeze and force Stockport back into their own half, and it's actually Adam Boyes who makes the interception that causes Stockport to lose possession before a foul on Danny Boschel. Boschel, after the referee had already whistled for the free kick, actually, to be honest, sort of goes down in a little bit of a heap, which irritates some of the fans around us in the main stand here at Edgeley Park. It's kind of irrelevant. I think the referee had already decided to give it. Correction. Oh, Solihull haven't scored a second. Correction coming through on the live score ticker. They're still only 1-0 up. So there's a lot of 1-0s around already. 15 minutes into the afternoon's action in the Conference North. Stephen Drent. It's since that goal, it's all been going horribly.
I've rattled you.
Yeah, well, I was a little bit worried anyway. I lost my voice about a month ago for 2 or 3 weeks, and to be honest, 7 minutes of talking solidly, and it's feeling a bit rough again already. It's been a breathless little period after a quiet few minutes at the start of the game, and this time Toulson's ball over the top threatened to bring Adam Boyes into play, but instead it's down in the right back area for Stockport. They're making the long clearance away. Spencer picks it up with his back to goal, but his pass is loose. Nicky Boschel can't do anything with it, and he's overrun by Baker. Plays it back to his keeper, Hurst. Stockport moving it around, but without any confidence in their own defensive area. Guiseley constantly threatening to take it away from them. Working their way down the right touchline now, Stockport, but only as far as Danny Ellis. And Guiseley have managed to come away with possession now with Ollie Johnson turning towards goal. Gives it to Danny Boschel, who uses Shane Killock behind him, who goes all the way back to Drench, drawing the Stockport team out, but forcing Guiseley a little bit deeper in the process. Drench takes it, a long kick towards the head of Boyes, who are struggling to win those in the air at the moment up against Gregson. And Guiseley having to sit this one out. Ball over the top from Jake Lawler, but Adam Boyes was in an offside position, had to just hold his hands up and walk back. And it's in the hands of Danny Hurst.
Oh yeah, I've been impressed so far with Nicky Boschel. I think he's been running around making himself a bit of a nuisance for the Stockport defence. Just that pass there, Adam Boyes, he knew he were offside. didn't want to waste the run, and well, that was a bit of a chance there as well.
Well, almost a golden opportunity, Tom. Ollie Johnson had 3 men around him with his back to goal, and he span and played the most wonderful through pass, and it was so perfect that Adam Boyes, who would have been onside but would have been clear through on the keeper with nothing to do other than try and slot the ball home. Didn't even see the pass coming, unfortunately. It was very well disguised, and the outcome of the end of that passage of play is that Stockport have won themselves quite softly in the end a corner.
And again, guys, they give possession away, and Stockport are able to get it forward, either get a corner or a chance, and they like to crowd Steve Drench. They've got 3 or 4 players trying to get around him.
Corner comes in swinging. Stephen Drench tries to get a fist to it. It's onto a Stockport head. No one able to get it clear at the moment before a hook from Gavin Rothery. Further celebrations from Tom, who's all fired up today. What was in your coffee before the game, Tom? I've never seen you gesticulating like this in the press bench.
The last few weeks I have been. I've just been getting so into these games.
We've made you a proper Guiseley fan, and we say that as Stockport come on looking dangerous again. The captain, Jamie Milligan, in field, and he's run off the ball by Nicky Boschel. Stockport dilly-dallying in midfield again, and they've been caught in possession too many times for their liking so far in the opening part of this game. And Guiseley in possession now. This time it's Gavin Rothery who's robbed of it, and they're bringing it forward with pace this time. Scott Spencer on the edge of the area, one-on-one with Ben Parker. He's coming in midfield, plays it off, receives it again, tries to hook it towards goal with his left foot. It's easy for Stephen Drench to collect, but dangerous moments there for the Guiseley defence, Tom.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the fact that there were 3 Stockport players in the penalty area, all with their hands up, asking for the pass, in the end it's basically a back pass to Drench. But if he'd have just looked up, he'd have probably picked out one of them players who'd been in a better position.
Colwyn Bay are 1-0 up in their game away to Chorley. So all the early goals happening. There's very little happening in the Conference North without a goal in it at the moment. And another kind of nothing passage of play has led to a corner.
Yeah.
And this time it's Guiseley. It was going to be taken by Nicky Boschel there in front of the travelling fans. He's going to curl it in with his left foot. Danny Ellis and Jake Lawler, Ollie Johnson, Adam Boyes all in the area, but it's a poor corner straight to the feet of the first defender. And Churchman is trying to bring it clear for Stockport. And a long ball through. It's called Stephen Drench out of his area, who's made an uncharacteristically poor clearance, actually. And Stockport will have a throw-in on their halfway line, as we hear news that Barrow are 1-0 up in their game away to Gainsborough Trinity. Pretty much every game in the division's 1-0 at the moment. It could be an interesting afternoon, or it could be a really boring afternoon. If every game finishes 1-0 and all the action's done for the day, that could be pretty tedious.
Again, I think we'd take that result right now.
It certainly would, absolutely. 3 points here would be fantastic. Nicky Boschel on a sleeping Jamie Milligan there. And in fact, both teams dozing in midfield at the moment, because Boschel, having made that interception, then dithered on the ball and was robbed again. Unfortunately, no damage done as Danny Ellis collected it and cleared it long, looking for the head of Adam Boyes again, but he's not won a single header up there under those long balls so far against Gregson and O'Halloran. And Stockport are trying to string a few passes together now in midfield to get themselves clear of their markers and make something happen. But in the battle of 8 versus 8, Danny Boschel wins for Guiseley, plays it forward to Gavin Rothery, who tries to find Adam Boyes, who's well marshalled by O'Halloran, back to his goalkeeper. And just at the moment, both teams cancelling each other out a little bit. Lots of players directing traffic and pointing people who they should be marking. Both teams looking well organised at the moment and well packed in midfield, and it means there's congested traffic. Both teams trying to pass it to feet wherever they can, and neither unlocking with a pass at the moment. It's on the halfway line with Gregson, but he's being hurried away by Adam Boyes. Suggestion that Boyes was being held back by the Stockport man, but nothing given by the referee, Mr. Sharp. In the meantime, Stockport bring it through in the middle. Mark Lees plays a good ball through to Chris Sharp, tries to find Stevenson on the overlap, but he's got little pitch to work with right down by the touchline inside the area. He wants to concede a goal kick. There's a bit of a post-mortem happening amongst the Guiseley players as to how that happened. Captain Ben Parker and Danny Ellis in particular trying to work out how to stop that happening again, because it was a dangerous moment, Tom.
Yeah, and I think what happened was pretty much all the guys who played thought it were an offside, and Chris Sharp, who was in that good position, he thought he might be flagged as well, so he actually let the ball run a bit further than he should have. If he'd have been able to take the pass maybe 1 or 2 strides earlier, he'd have had a very good opportunity to find a teammate. Instead, the ball goes pretty much out of play for a goal, well, nearly a goal kick, and then Drench picks it up and clears it anyway.
Stockport are in possession at the moment. They're on the left, approaching the edge of the Guiseley area. Toulson is beaten with the first pass, but Nicky Boschel is back there tidying up well, and he brings it away, plays it square, lays it off to his brother Danny, who plays a longer ball over the top to Ollie Johnson, who's found himself onside. He's got some running to do. He's on the left-hand edge of the penalty area. Coming into the area now, he's got Adam Boyes inside him. Other players joining. He doesn't need any of them, but he goes for the goal. It comes away off the far post. Great effort by Ollie Johnson. It looked for all the world like he was going to make the pass there in search of that second goal in this game. It was a good curling shot, but came away off the post, cannoned away back into open play, and it's still an open play until a ball blasted against the feet of Nicky Boschel sends it safely back to Danny Hurst.
Well, we've got him rattled, and Ollie Johnson, who was clearly onside, about a yard onside, pretty much all the Stockport players stopped, and Johnson gets into the area, really good step over, has a shot, and just hits the outside of the bar, goes out of play, but just one of them. You've got to take these chances, because Stockport, they look a little bit rattled, but if they can regain their composure, then they'll start creating more chances as well. And it's just one of them. You don't want to look back at the end of the 90 minutes and say that was a turning point.
So Guiseley about to restart with a throw-in just inside the Stockport half over on the right with Ryan Toulson, and that gives me a chance at halfway through this first half, with the score being Stockport County 0, Guiseley 1, to hand over for the rest of this first half commentary to Colin Robertson.
Thanks, Nick. So, Guiseley in the ascendancy. Nicky Boschel with the goal after 10 minutes. Great start to this game. The Lions now pressing forward down the right-hand side, looking to break their way into the Stockport final third once again. What a chance that was for Ollie Johnson just a few moments ago. What a great work chance from himself. Great footwork in the penalty area. But still just couldn't get that second. And like quite as you say, Tom, we don't want to be ruining these chances at the end of the 90 minutes. At the moment, though, the Lions still pressing down this right-hand flank. Ultimately, though, the ball goes out for a goal kick after Danny Boschel was chasing the ball down there. And it gives Danny Hurst a chance just to take a goal kick, perhaps take a little bit of sting out of the last passage of play. And Stockport move the ball upfield now. Good flick on there from Sharp, gives it to Milligan. Now they come down this right-hand side. Mark Lees, infield here to Stevenson. Stevenson on the left foot, cross into the area, headed up in the air by Danny Ellis, still not cleared, falls almost towards Andy Owens. He decides to leave it, but to go behind for a corner. A real danger there from Stockport County as they came forward on the quick counter-attack.
Yeah, well, Andy Owens, it looked like he was just going to lever it really and try and get it on goal. Instead, he lets it go out for a corner, and they'll take that now.
Corner from this left-hand side. Stockport whip it in towards the 6-yard box once again. Stephen Drench couldn't claim. They almost got on the end of it inside the 6-yard area. Couldn't get the connection that they were looking for, because if a firm head had met that, it would almost certainly have been the equaliser.
Well, I think it's one of them crosses. You just put it into an area and see if anyone can get onto it. It passes all the Guiseley heads, and it looked like for a second O'Halloran was going to get his head onto it, but instead Toulson's able to get it out for another corner.
And the Stockport strategy here is to get in the way of Stephen Drench, prevent him from claiming the ball in that 6-yard box. Guiseley have all the players inside the 6-yard area, and again it comes infield, and again it comes into that area, but this time Stephen Drench watches that one and claims it comfortably, and immediately tries to release Ollie Johnson, who was offside actually coming back. He should have just kept that line, because Stephen Drench just trying to release it quickly. Guys, have conceded possession, and again it'll invite Stockport back onto them.
Yeah, it's a shame. Just about half a yard offside, and you could just tell Johnson, when Drench kicked it, Johnson tried very quickly to get back onside, but he was clearly offside, and it's a bit of a waste that, because it would have been Ollie Johnson if he was onside. He'd have had possession very high up in the pitch, and at the very least, guys, would have maintained possession rather than letting Stockport have it back.
Ipswich 2, Leeds 1 back in the Championship. We'll be giving you a full roundup of all the scores at half-time. We're not mentioning the Premierships because apparently we spoil match of the day if we do, but we will be going through the Premiership scores at half-time. In the meanwhile, Stockport are on the attack here. Good movement from Milligan. Nice little touch to give the ball here to Churchman. Chris Churchman gives it here to Chris Sharp on the edge of the penalty area. Crosses come in again, headed away. Picked up by Churchman again. Goes back, and it's still in possession. Stockport County begin to enjoy this spell and begin to enjoy pressing Guiseley and look to get back onto level terms. Interception from Danny Boschel leaves Ollie Johnson with a lot of work to do with 2 players around him. Runs with the ball, perhaps should have released it, but keeps battling hard to keep possession. They can't knock him off the ball at the moment. He's not going anywhere, and eventually, as he attempts to clear, knocks it out into touch. But physical work there from Ollie Johnson, good skills, but perhaps he could have done with releasing the ball a little earlier.
And if he had, you've got likes of Nicky Boschel and Adam Boyes in a better position. Instead, he just has to, well, he's basically cornered, he's trapped. He had to just kick it out for a throw in when there were better options.
Now Killock's lost the flight of the ball. Into the area goes Stevenson, gives the ball here to Chris Sharp. Sharp gets the shot away, blocked. Comes out to the left-hand side. Cross comes back in from Owens into the penalty area where Sharp makes a rather lunging effort to divert the ball towards the goal. Had an awful lot to do that, and in the end it's gone behind for a goal kick. But they just beginning to threaten a little bit.
Yeah, it's
the game becoming a little bit more squeezed by Stockport County.
Yeah, well, just that effort there, Owens. It's so far behind him. The only option he could do was try and hook it behind him, and it goes out of play. But Stockport, they just over the last couple of minutes, they've started to take possession, and they're trying to create chances with it. And for Guiseley, it's, again, you don't want to be looking back at them lost chances, but at the minute, still 1-0.
Just on the ball again here with Richie Baker up against Danny Boschel, going down the left-hand side. Baker keeps it. Looked like he kept it in play, but couldn't. And it'll be a Guiseley throw in their right-back position.
Well, good play there by Danny Boschel and Ryan Toulson. They just basically trap him, so he has to get it out of play for that throw-in. And again, it's just for Guiseley. No silly mistakes, just hold their line, don't do anything too rash, and I think they'll be okay for now. But it's just if Stockport then can get back to where they can, the way they've been playing at Edgeley Park this season, if they get to that level, Guiseley will have to up it to another gear.
Of course, this Stockport County side unbeaten since the opening day of the season here at Edgeley Park in the league. They did lose in the FA Cup to Chester at home, no shame in that. Guiseley, meanwhile, are looking to rack up, I think, one of their first away wins, it would be, against one of the sides in the top half of the table. So Guiseley need to show that they can see these games through, and at the moment it's a bit of pressure from Stockport in the last few minutes, but Guiseley are ahead 1-0 if you're just joining us. Nicky Boschel scoring after 10 minutes. Stockport, though, coming back into it a little bit more. Good tackle from Jake Lawler, wins the ball off Richie Baker. A big shout from the crowd for a foul, but I have to say I think he won the ball cleanly, and Guiseley come away with it. They're coming down the right-hand side here. Boschel chips the ball over towards Boyes. Nod down from Boyes, looking for Nicky Boschel. Boschel gets a shot away, and it's wide of the right upright. Never really had the pace or the fizz to threaten the goal, but it was a good move, that. A good nod down there from Adam Boyes. And Nicky Boschel in the right place, just couldn't really apply the finish with the power needed. Yeah,
it were a very good effort there, but you could tell the goalkeeper, he lunges for it, but it was more of he knew it were going out of play, he just wanted to make sure. But just going back to that tackle by Jake Lawler, it's one of them where the crowd don't like it, but the players, not one Stockport player actually complained about that. He got the ball, it were a good tackle.
Now Adam Boyes is chasing in between two defenders from Jake Lawler's header on. The goalkeeper, Danny Hurst, came well out of his area, but just for a minute just looked like Adam Boyes might sneak in between the two of them. But all credit to Hurst. He applied the clearance. Guiseley now back in possession. Ryan Toulson sends it down the right flank, looking for Nicky Boschel, the goal scorer. But Stockport clear their lines until Churchman holds onto it a little too long. And now Guiseley come away with it. Infield towards Ollie Johnson, but just beyond him and back with the back line. Daniel Gregson to the centre circle, and a raking crossfield pass out to the left flank, but beyond the Stockport man, the intended target, and out for a throw-in for Guiseley. and it's a thrown in right back position.
Well, you're just wanting Guiseley, with not that long to go now for the rest of the first half, just to hold the ball, maintain possession, and not do anything too silly, not do anything too daft. Just, 1-0 at half time. Guiseley, if you'd have offered them that at the start, they'd have taken it for half time. So it's just, trying to maybe get Stockport on the break, because they do seem to hold quite a high line, and Ollie and Adam can take advantage of that maybe.
Well, Nicky Boschel was just chasing down Danny Hurst as he dealt with the clearance. It was good work, actually, good industry from Nicky Boschel. He forced Danny Hurst into making a rather wayward clearance. Now Guiseley have the throw on the halfway line on the left-hand side with Ben Parker. He launches a throw down towards Nicky Boschel, but it's beyond him, and it's a good clearance now, and a chance now for Scott Spencer to chase Shane Killick. Spencer, full of running, chases it all the way back to Stephen Drench, who lays it back to Killick. Guiseley now in a bit of a pickle. Danny Boschel is robbed, and now the ball's picked up here by Lee Stevenson. Sends it out to the right-hand side. Sharp looks to cross, gets it in with his left foot, headed away by Killick. Up towards Boys, gives it to Nicky Boschel. Danny Boschel, I don't know, is on the ground for any reason. He didn't certainly look to be fouled to me, but he comes away now with the ball with Gavin Rothery anyway, and the Lions can come down the left-hand side. No, Ollie Johnson has been flagged for offside, and he is not happy at all about that. And I have to say, that did not look correct at all to me.
No, he looked well about a yard onside, really. He looked like he timed the run, and all the Stockport players, none of them really reacted to that, thinking it were offside. It was the linesman's put his flag up, and by the looks of it, he might be the only person who thought it was offside. Yeah,
I think so. Wasn't much of a shout. Anyway, Danny Hurst takes the free kick. It's launched up towards Sharp. Sharp flicks it on towards the edge of the D, where Danny Ellis deals with it. Now it's up to Adam Boys on the halfway line. Good nod down under pressure from Boys. Good work as well from Nicky Boschel here. Gives the ball to Gavin Rothery, who's got Ollie Johnson to the left-hand side. Ollie Johnson onside this time. Gets the cross into the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's eventually beaten away by the Stockport rear guard, and it's a Guiseley throw on the left-hand side about level with the 6-yard box.
Good play there by Ollie Johnson, just making sure that he puts the defence under enough pressure to make sure Guiseley get either a throw or a corner. This throw now, a couple of players in the area, maybe whip something in when you've got the likes of Boys in there.
Now Parker with the ball, gives it to Rothery. Rothery crosses it in towards the other 6-yard box again, looking for Nicky Boschel or Adam Boys in there. In the end, it's dealt with, and it's helped away. Penn Parker, she robs Churchman, gets the ball back for Guiseley inside the final third. Nicky Boschel cross towards the penalty spot, takes a deflection. Boschel with a second chance, he swipes the left foot at it, and it doesn't make a clean connection this time. Dealt with by Stockport, but still Guiseley have the second phase and keep the pressure on. Ryan Toulson infield to Danny Boschel, gives it to Danny Ellis, and then it's Shane Killick out here to Ben Parker. He's got the ball on the left-hand side, up from left back into the Stockport half. Gavin Rothery just outside from the touchline on the left-hand side, just infield there. Gavin Rothery and Adam Boys exchange passes well. Boys brings Ryan Toulson into the game from right back. Ryan Toulson comes up, shoots. Oh dear, not the greatest shot. Almost beat the stand and the netting behind the goal. But good movement nonetheless. But Ryan Toulson won't want to see that one again, I'm sure, on the video.
I think Toulson saw his name in the lights there, and it nearly ended up in the car park. It was that high, but it's good play by guys, and they found the room. It's just Toulson, I think he saw that there might have been one option in Adam Boys, but he had two men around him, so he thought the shot was the best option. On another day, that might be making the goalkeeper work, but that time it goes well over the bar.
It is now Solihull 2, Lowestoft 0, so the Moors have that second goal in their game. We wouldn't mind one here. A second goal to the Lions would certainly help our case. 1-0 up at the moment after Nicky Boschel put in the ball in the back of the net on 10 minutes. I've had chances and Ollie Johnson's hit the woodwork, but as yet haven't got that second. Guiseley will probably need it, because this is a good strong Stockport side in 6th place, on the cusp of the playoffs, really going to be in amongst that leading pack, you feel, this season. And Guiseley certainly been stung in the tail. Rather bad challenge comes in there from Nicky Boschel. In fairness, a little bit late on Richie Baker. Home fans get behind their team and let the referee know that they're not happy with it. Ben Parker has a lot of work to do, though, as the ball comes down the other end. And he's chased down there by Chris Sharp. In the end, Parker does well, earns Guiseley a throw, but it's in their left back position.
Well, Ben's wanting that to go out for a goal kick, and he just realises there's not enough on that pass for it to happen. So does well to make sure Guiseley get the frame. But just going back to that previous tackle, Nicky Boschel, the moment he made it, he did put both his hands up and just basically say to Barker, sorry, didn't mean it, but I would say it's a forwards tackle that, quite clumsy.
Just another shout out for the Otley Food Bank collection. It's going to be at the next two Guiseley home matches, so that is next Saturday and the week after that. We'll be collecting items for the food bank. A lot of non-perishables is, I think, the main aim of the day, really. Tins, jars of coffee, that sort of thing. Anything you can to bring, absolutely brilliant.
And a great cause.
Great cause, of course, and just what we do. Guiseley currently, at the moment, 1-0 up here at Edgeley Park, and have the ball on the halfway line in the form of a throw-in. On the left-hand side, Ben Parker looking to launch this one down the left flank. He's going to take quite a long throw here and aim it towards Boys, who's come way out. It's won back by Stockport. It's not conventionally dealt with, really, by Daniel Gregson, who was put under pressure. And I think Nicky Boschel's got a slight knock in the face, but he's okay. Nothing too serious. 38 minutes gone. 1-0 Lions. Throw in. About level with the edge of the penalty area on the left-hand side. Taken short towards Nicky Boschel. Poorly dealt with by Guiseley, but Chris Churchman doesn't really clear well. And Guiseley get the ball back again. In here to Gavin Rothery. Guiseley having some spell of possession again up in the final third. Danny Boschel gets a deflection against the Stockport man, Chris Churchman, and then it must ricochet back again off Boschel because it's gone behind for a goal kick. The referee quite clear in that, and I don't think there's any discussion to be had on that one.
No, it's just one of them. You think it might actually be going out for a corner, and it just nicks off Boschel. Took two ricochets, hits off Boschel again, and quite clearly a goal kick.
Guiseley now concede a free kick on the halfway line. The Stockport County fans provide an ironic clap because I think they think they've been a little bit hard done to. Can't say as I agree with them too much on most of the decisions this afternoon. That one quite clearly a Stockport County free kick, and on the centre circle, referee Mr. Neil Sharp has given a chance now for Stockport County to put a lot of bodies on the edge of the area. The ball played in by Churchman, headed away, picked up though, second phase here by Sharp, Chris Sharp. Going away from goal as Nicky Boschel sticks to his task defensively and forces him into a poor ball, gives it to Adam Boys on the halfway line. Danny Boschel, one of the most advanced midfielders. He's forward on the left-hand side. Gives it to Gavin Rothery. Sprinting down that left flank. Forced towards the corner flag now. Rothery goes towards the byline. Keeps it in play. Can he get it into the penalty area? Plays it across the 6-yard box, and it's eventually cleared by a Stockport County defender right on that 6-yard box, just ahead of Nicky Boschel, who was steaming in there. Guiseley with the second phase again. Floats the ball into the area. This time it'll be easy for goalkeeper Danny Hurst to claim. But that was great industry there from the Lions on the counter-attack. Nicky Boschel at the heart of it, originally with good defending. Adam Boys with a great interception. And then Gavin Rothery with good skill, good footwork to get into the penalty area and almost apply the pass that was the defining pass that could have broken down this Stockport County resistance. Now they come forward again, the Lions. This time with Rothery. His put-through ball is cut out by Churchman when he had options in Ollie Johnson and Adam Boys. And now Stockport County come up the other end here. Scott Spencer on the ball for the home side. Infield here towards Lee Stevenson. Crossed towards Lees, Mark Lees. He's played every game, the only every present in this Stockport County side, playing his 20th league game here this season already. The Lions on the back foot a little bit here as Stockport come forward. Lees chips it forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Just enough got onto it by Gavin Rothery to defend. And then Rothery's pulled up for a free kick. Not too sure on that one. Stockport County, though, have a free kick about 25 yards from goal in a very dangerous position just to the right-hand side of the D.
Yeah, it looked like... Well, I'm not 100% sure why the free kick was given there, but it's a really dangerous position, this. And what they'll do is they'll get plenty of men in the area. They've also got one or two that can take a free kick as well, so it's it's a case of, are they going to cross it in, or are they going to have the shot, put a bit of indecision into Steve Drench's mind. But it's a really good position, this, and for Guiseley, they'll have to defend well.
42 minutes gone. Still, it's the Lions that lead here, 1-0 against Stockport County, but the Hatters have a free kick in a very, very dangerous position. Be Milligan or Andy Owens to take. Looks like Milligan will step up with the left foot, curls it in towards the goal. Well held by Stephen Drench. Watch that very carefully indeed. It was well floated in towards the goal, heading in towards the inside of the left upright, but Stephen Drench watched it carefully and claimed the ball. Now Guiseley with a chance to move it forward. Adam Boys went down to ground, claiming a free kick. Referee told him to get up. The ball fell to Ollie Johnson, but Guiseley still couldn't keep possession. Boys still battling hard, trying to win the ball back, and somehow is given a free kick for Boys' challenge, and referee didn't give it. The linesman on the far side did. Not quite sure I agree, but Guiseley do come away. Actually, Stockport do come away with the ball, and the Lions have to be attentive again. The Stockport County just beginning to press into this final few minutes of the first half, with the Lions leading by that 1-0. Now a loose ball from the Hatters, gives it to Danny Boschel, picked up here by Adam Boys, out towards Nicky Boschel. He's onside, although there's a big shout for offside, and I must admit it looked quite marginal there. Gavin Rothery takes over, infield here to Ollie Johnson on the edge of the D, 2 men ahead of him. He's got Ryan Tilson on the right hand side. Ollie Johnson goes for the shot, goalkeeper spills it and claims it at the second attempt. Adam Boys was looking for it. It was a shot that Ollie Johnson took with his almost a very difficult angle on the edge of the D with two players in close attention. He had Ryan Tilson in acres of space on the right hand side, but he still forced Danny Hurst into a save, and Hurst, who fumbled the ball at the first attempt, claimed it at the second before Adam Boys could capitalise.
Well, just for a second I thought that could be squirming its way towards Adam Boys, who'd have had an open goal from 4 yards out, but the keeper does well, makes the first save, and then is able to quickly claim the rebound. And a really good chance there for Guiseley. Stockport there, a lot of their players stopped running. They all thought it was offside. Guiseley continued, they played to the whistle, they nearly took full advantage.
Now Gavin Rothery has just capitalised on a slip from Churchman, runs towards the edge of the D, gets a shot away with the left foot, just wide of the uprights. Good running from Gavin Rothery. Took the ball away from Chris Churchman on the edge of the centre circle, ran forward with pace, got to the edge of the 18-yard box, but couldn't direct the shot towards the goal, and it's gone wide for a goal kick.
I think it's one of them. The Stockport defence were basically saying to Rothery, have a shot if you want, because if he gets that in, it would have been a fantastic goal. And just for a second, it looked like it might be curling in. Instead, hits the side netting. And for Guiseley, it's another time where they've gained possession through a bit of a Stockport mistake, and they've been able to get the men up quickly and get something from it.
Header on by Jake Lawler inside the centre circle. Loses out, but wins the ball back well and intelligently. Now Gavin Rothery tries to thread it through about three players. He, in fairness, was always going to be up against it, trying to find the ball to Adam Boys, and Stockport recover. A couple of score lines here from the Vanarama Conference North. It's Solihull Moors 3, Lowestoft 0 now, so miserable afternoon. Actually, Lowestoft have just got a goal back, so it's 3-1.
The comeback zone.
3-1. And it's Ipswich 3, Leeds United 1 in the Championship. And there's a bit of a problem here for Guiseley, because they've just considered a free kick about midway through their own half. And it's a chance now for Jamie Milligan to deliver another set piece just on the stroke of the break. And this could change the shape of the game. Milligan puts the ball into the area. Good header away from Jake Lawler. Now, can Ollie Johnson get to it? Takes it away from the man. Now, Guiseley are 3-on-2 if they can capitalise on this and move swiftly upfield. Ollie Johnson running at the fullback. Gets tackled. The ball goes through to Nicky Boschel, who's offside. What a waste of a move there. If the defender got the touch, though, Nicky Boschel wasn't offside, but Ollie Johnson went to the fullback, Mark Lees. Mark Lees appeared to get the tackle into me, but either way, the referee decided that Nicky Boschel was in an offside position. Guiseley could have done so much more with that, though. 3-on-2, and perhaps should have done.
Well, I think Ollie Johnson might be at fault, because he didn't appeal, and he put his hand up immediately as if to apologise. But half-time, 1-0 up, but we've had a couple of more chances, but we'll take that.
Yeah, it is indeed. Guiseley who lead at the break, as the referee Neil Sharp blows the whistle. It's the difference between these two sides so far is Nicky Boschel. He's the man who scored in for Wayne Brooksby, who is suspended today. Nicky Boschel didn't take any time at all to make his mark on this game. 10 minutes in, he slotted home from close range after some excellent work down the right-hand side and a good cross into the box from Adam Boys, I think it was. Guiseley have had great number of chances in this first 45. Ollie Johnson with a mazy run into the penalty area, a curling shot that came back off the upright, but the Lions have had other chances and they perhaps should have got that second goal, and we just wonder, it's a great first 45 minutes of football, Guiseley dominant, Guiseley on top, but you just wonder if you don't take your chances in that first 45, perhaps there's a chance we might live to regret it.
And it's something that you have to fear as well, because Guiseley have had some really good chances apart from the goal. Adam Boys, before we even got a goal, had a fantastic opportunity, and on another day that would have flown in. But for Guiseley, it's just a case that they've had the chances, just lacking that clinical final edge.
We'll keep us on for the next 10 minutes or so, because Tom Feaheny and Tom Swallow are going to be going through the scores in all of the divisions. There's plenty of jobs that we've got to do at half-time. So Tom Swallow and Tom Feaheny for the next 10 minutes or so. We'll go through all the scores from the Premiership right down to the Vanarama Conference North. And there's lots of interesting events this afternoon, including an FA Cup second round day, so I'm sure they'll have plenty to bring you. But we'll be back in about 10 minutes' time for second half commentary. Half time here, Stockport County 0, Guiseley 1, and over to you, Tom.
Thanks, Colin. Well, the early kick-off. Here we go, the early kick-off was Newcastle versus Chelsea, which finished Newcastle 2, Chelsea 1. And then the half-time scores, which are currently playing: Hull City 0, West Brom 0, Liverpool 0, Sunderland 0, QPR 0, Burnley 0. And I think if this is right, Stoke City 3, Arsenal 0. I'll have to check that one. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Crystal Palace 0. I'll just get the championship up for you.
Please put your hands together for Mark Robertson. Thank you, Mark. Great to see you.
And
Mark's receiving a cheque for £500 from the Finger.
Here we go from the championship. Just if I can get that up.
Which starts in January. Cheque presented by Bob Neal and Sasha Jeffrey. 3 generations of county fans. So thank you very much for that. And nice to see Mark Robertson back here again. We wish you well.
Just having some connection problems here. One moment. Can't get a championship up, mate. Get the scores. Just we'll get those scores to you in one moment. But a great game we've had here today at Stockport so far. Good goal from Nicky Boschel. And a great ball to him played by Ollie Johnson.
Second prize, number 633, will get you a case of lager. And our third prize today, number
Here we go, we've got the scores up. And it's Blackburn 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Blackpool 0, Birmingham 0, Cardiff 0, Rotherham 0, Derby County 3, Brighton 0, Huddersfield Town 1, Brentford 0, Ipswich 3, Leeds 1, Millwall 0, Middlesbrough 4, Nottingham 0, Charlton 1, Reading 0, Bolton 0, Wigan 0, Norwich 1, Wolves 1, Bournemouth 0, and in the League 2 it's Exeter 0, Burton 0. Just bring you the FA Cup scores here. It's Accrington 0, Yeovil 1, Bury 0, Luton 0, Cambridge United 1, Mansfield 1, Milton Keynes 0, Chesterfield 0, Oldham 0, Doncaster 0, It's Oxford United 0, Tranmere 1. Preston 1, Shrewsbury 0. Sheffield United 0, Plymouth 0. And then from the Vanarama Conference North, Forest Green 1, Altrincham 0. Macclesfield 1, Woking 0. Nuneaton 0, Alfreton 1. And it's Torquay 0, Barnet 2. Welling 0, Bristol Rovers 0. And so now to the Conference North. It's Boston 0, Brackley 1. Chorley 0, Corwin Bay 0. Fylde 1, Stalybridge 0. Gainsborough 0, Barrow 1. Harrogate 0, Bradford Park Avenue 1. Hyde 1, North Ferriby 0. Leamington 0, Hednesford 1. Solihull 3, Lowestoft Town 1. And here from Stockport, it's Stockport 0, Guiseley 1.
That's the cooperative AGM this coming Thursday at the Bungalow, right next door to
Well, at half time,
the
just look, you made it the first half because Guiseley 1-0 up. They've had some chances though. Could be a couple more goals for Guiseley. But all in all, a goal up against Stockport, we'll take that.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's great to be at a fantastic ground like this, a good atmosphere. And the game, it's been really good. I think Guiseley have had the better of the first half, which the goal suggests. Ollie Johnson has been really good in this half, set up Nicky Boschel with a great pass, who got on the end of it, found the back of the net, and from there we've had a couple of good efforts from Boschel. He's come in because of Wayne Brooks, who's not here today, and he's made good on his chance. He's done well.
Do you think, though, that we could regret some of these chances? Because especially Ollie Johnson, working his way into the area, a fantastic effort, hits the post, and on another day that nestles into the bottom corner. Today it didn't. And Stockport, they've had a couple of corners where they've made chances. Do you think, guys, they could live to regret what has happened?
Well, Stockport will try to come out in the second half to get back on level terms. And, as you said, Ollie Johnson has great skill, good run, used his pace, used his trickery to get round the Stockport defence. He has a good effort, and you think that's going in, and it just finds the post. And it could have made it 2-0 and made it more comfortable for Guiseley here. But, it's 1-0 at the moment. Guiseley will take that going into the second half, and hopefully they can hold that and build on it.
Well, I would just like to talk about the academy for a second. Luke Porritt from the academy, he's on the bench. Great to see, and also great to see Guiseley a 6-0 win against Harrogate Town's academy yesterday, last night at Nethermore Park. And it's great to see a couple of the academy lads being given an opportunity. Fine, they may be on the bench, but Luke might come on, might get 15-20 minutes or so of football today. And it's good that the academy, Guiseley, they're creating their own talent.
Yeah, it's good to see. Like you said, 6-0 win yesterday there. And, bringing the lads here for such a big game, at a big stadium, even if you don't get the time, it's good to be around the atmosphere of it. And like you said, he could get a few minutes here, and it'd be fantastic if it did.
Well, Guiseley then 1-0 up, and for the Lions, they're second in the table. It doesn't matter if they won today, in terms of if they'd go first, they can't go top today. But a win to maintain second place going into this busy Christmas period. Just how important do you think that is to be putting so much pressure on the team above them, obviously, in Barrow?
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, going to Christmas period, it's usually quite busy, and if they get the 3 points here today, it's a big win. It's Stockport. They're currently 6. They're only 4 points behind, guys. So it's very important that they get the 3 points. And as you said, Barrow above them, and guys were really unlucky to not get anything from that game. So, if they get the 3 points today, they can carry on, they can build on that, and make sure the gap doesn't open between them and Barrow, and hopefully they can make up a few points, get a bit closer, and try to get into that first position.
How do you think the players have done for Guiseley in terms of the atmosphere at Stockport? Because there have been one or two occasions where maybe the referee hasn't made the decision the home fans wanted, and in my opinion, I think the Guiseley players have just got on with their business. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's true. It's been, obviously, we know the crowds that they get here, they've got fantastic support, and obviously if they're not happy with how the team's playing at the moment, they're going to let them know. But like I said, the guys, they've just got on with it. They've done their best to just ignore some of it. But they've done well. The players have coped. They've just got on with their game. Especially, like we keep mentioning, Ollie Johnson is done so well again. He's in great form, But I think Rotherham's had a good first half here today, and hopefully they can build on that. They can get that second goal, and we'll see what happens there.
Well, I'd also like to talk about Adam Boyes for a second, because fine, he hasn't really had a clear chance yet, apart from that effort 5 minutes in. But he is making that Stockport County defence work. They're earning their money tonight. He is putting them through their paces. And the way that Boyes has been basically forcing them into making mistakes. Guys have got a corner about 30 minutes in where Boyes really put the defence under pressure. And it looked like Stockport, maybe they're a little bit surprised that guys have got a player like Adam Boyes who's really just willing to run out at every lost cause.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to mention that. I mean, Boyes, this season, is known for his goal scoring, but today his work the defence. He's made them work. He's created chances, opened things up for other players like Rothery and Boschel and Johnson. He's got in there. He's got stuck in. He's done what he can to help his team and create chances. Like I said, not any clear-cut chances at goal, but if he can help his team in another way, he'll do that, and he's done that today.
So, Tom, if you're Mark Bauer, you're in that dressing room now, you're 1-0 up, what do you say to the players?
Well, I mean, the score suggests, one thing to say is, keep doing what they're doing, because I think if they do play like that, they're going to get that second goal eventually. I think they've got a lot of creativity up front that can get them that second goal. And if I was Matt Bauer, I'd just say, keep going how you're going, work hard. Eventually the second goal will come. Keep creating chances, and at the back, they defended really well. Stockport have had a couple of efforts, but the defence has closed them down, and they've done enough just to keep them out and not really let Stockport pose a threat to Guiseley. And
I always seem to read too much into these things, but Andy Holdsworth has done a full warm-up, and he's actually left the field a couple of minutes before the other Guiseley players. I'm not sure whether he will be coming on or not, but do you think, when you look at the bench, you've got Andy Holdsworth, you've got the substitute goalkeeper Steve Dickinson, winger Luke Porritt, midfielders Jack Stockdale and striker Alex Johnson. If you were going to make a change, who would it be coming on and who would it be coming off?
Well, it's a tricky one, because guys have had a good first half, so it's hard to think about change at the moment. So if I was going to make a change, the only change I make is if anyone's injured at the moment, because I keep the team as it is. They're playing well, and then maybe towards the last 20 minutes have a look at maybe giving Alex Johnson another chance, and maybe give Boyes a rest, and but just to see how the game goes. It depends what type of play. If they concede, early in the second half, then they might look for that defensive change. I mean, you look at someone like Andy Holdsworth on the bench. He's a top defender, and if you can bring on someone like that, then you'll only help the team.
Well, you said that if we concede, hopefully we don't. Hopefully we get a clean sheet today, because as the scoreline suggests, it's Stockport 0, Guiseley 1. We are ahead, and the Lions, we deserve to be ahead. I think that is fair to say. The players are getting ready to come out now. The tunnel has been taken out, and a couple of the Stockport players are just making their way onto the pitch now. They're getting a big round of applause by the fans. I've got to say, did you notice though that at half time there were some boos? Do you think that'll have played maybe on the Stockport players' minds?
Yeah, I mean, they've got such fantastic support here, a great crowd, and the Stockport will want to perform well for their crowd and for their supporters, and there were a few boos, and that just shows that they want their team to get back into this game. And I think they might be a bit lively in the second half, but we'll see. Hopefully Guiseley can continue what they've done in the first half and try find that second goal. But it's been a good first half so far, and hopefully it'll continue in the second half.
Well, thanks for that, Tom. Well, we are getting ready then for the second half, and we are at Edgeley Park. It is Stockport County 0, Guiseley 1. The Lions have taken the lead. Nicky Boschel with the goal in the 12th minute. And joining us for the second half, it's going to be myself. But first of all, it's Nik Keefe.
Well, thank you, Tom, and welcome back to Edgeley Park. If you're just joining us after half time, you find us with the scores 1-0 to the visiting team, Guiseley. And it was a good first half for the Lions, a half in which you could argue they should have been more than one goal to the good as they went in for their orange slices and cups of tea, right? I don't know. I think it's being inside the M60's got me confused. As the teams come out for the second half, it doesn't look like there's any changes for either side as yet. And that gives me a chance to run through those lineups for you. First, Stockport County, 1 to 11. Danny Hurst in goal, and then Mark Lees, Andy Owens, Chris Churchman, Danny Gregson, Stephen O'Halloran, Richie Baker, Lee Stevenson, Scott Spencer, the captain Jamie Milligan, and Chris Sharp. Guiseley's first 11 as we get ready for the kick-off to be taken here, this time by Guiseley for the second 45. Will be Stephen Drench in goal as that whistle is blown. And then Ryan Toulson, Ben Parker, Shane Killock, Danny Ellis, Jake Lawler, Nicky Boschel, Danny Boschel, Adam Boys, Ollie Johnson and Gavin Rothery. As Guiseley start the second half winning an early throw-in on the left, on the far side of the ground in front of us, because they will be kicking left to right towards that enormous two-tier end stand here at Edgeley Park in the second half. Stockport will be kicking towards the closed stand containing the scoreboard as Andy Owens tries to pressure Ryan Toulson, and much to our confusion and that of the Guiseley players, the referee's given a corner. It looked very clearly like Andy Owens had swiped the ball out of play. Actually, it's not a corner, it's a free kick that he's given for the challenge apparently by Toulson. No, in fact, it's been backed away for a corner. Well, there's no way in the world.
That was not a corner.
None whatsoever, Tom. Absolutely agree. But it's going to be taken by Jamie Milligan. Outswinger with his left foot comes into the area now. Tall players in there, headed away by Killock at the back post. It's bobbling around in the area though still. No one able to get it clear yet. Stockport have it on the edge of the area with Scott Spencer. He finds someone further out wide on the right, bearing down on the edge of the area. Two Guiseley men for company, cuts inside again looking for Richie Baker, but he can't get to it, and it comes free to Ollie Johnson on the centre circle, lays it off for Danny Boschel, who passes it first time for Ollie Johnson to run onto again in the right channel. He's approaching the edge of the area now with Lees to beat, but Lees sticks to his task well against the Guiseley striker and clears it infield for a Stockport man to get some distance on, but only as far as the halfway line, and Shane Killock intercepts it for Guiseley. Again, at the third attempt, Guiseley win the ball back from a clearance by the Stockport man. This time it was Ben Parker, and so it's out wide on the left. Now with Nicky Boschel on the touchline, back to Gavin Rothery. Infield to Adam Boys with his back to goal. Plays it back to Danny Boschel. First time ball through, looking for his brother Nicky, but it's cut out by a Stockport man. Another aimless clearance from the Stockport defence, straight back to Shane Killock, who uses Stephen Drench to play it long. Nicky Boschel's under the header, but he's beaten to it by O'Halloran. Scuffed kick by Danny Boschel puts Ryan Toulson under some pressure. He tries to find Ollie Johnson, but good challenge by Andy Owens. Wins a corner, a throw-in for Stockport, and they're encroaching deep into the Guiseley half now with Stevenson on the edge of the area, crowded away by Guiseley, who are trying to fashion another break for themselves. Nicky Boschel lays it off to his brother Danny. Danny on to Gavin Rothery on the left wing, who strides forward with it, almost onto the edge of the area now. Clever ball through, trying to feed Adam Boys, but Boys is marshalled by the defender very well, and Hurst comes out to collect it at his feet. So a breathless passage of play there, Tom.
Well, both sides attacking from the off, and just like they did during the first half, there was a couple of minutes where both sides really went for it, and then there was a bit of a lull before Guiseley got the only goal of the game so far. But I think Stockport, you can tell already, they seem to, for corners, they've only had one so far, but they pushed two extra men forward, and it's just a case of, I think Stockport, they're going to maybe make one or two chances, going to try and push the envelope a little bit, and Guiseley can hopefully counter and get them on the break.
So loads of goal flashes already in the second 45. Ipswich now 4-1 up against Leeds United. Solihull 3-2 up against 10-man Lowestoft as Stockport move forward dangerously with Churchman. Churchman looking long over the top for Richie Baker, headed away by Ben Parker, but Stockport still have it on the edge of the area. Lots of yellow shirts in there. Shout for a foul by the Stockport fans, and it is given as a foul against Scott Spencer right on the edge of the Guiseley area. It looked like just a sort of crowding of bodies in there as much as anything, but this is a really dangerous place for Guiseley to defend the free kick, Tom.
Yeah, and the last free kick they had in the first half was a really good effort. It was on target and Drench did well to save. So they're doing the exact same thing again. They're getting plenty of men in the area, but they've also got someone who can take a free kick as a shot as well. And it's one of them. Drench has got to really be on his game because if this is on target like the last one, it'll be a good effort.
3 men lining it up at the moment. One's just walking away now, leaving Richie Baker with his right, or more likely I think Jamie Milligan, the captain, with his left foot to have a shot at this. I say that and it is Baker, takes the shot, parried away by Drench wide. Shane Killock's chasing it down, he's the first man to it, and he gets his foot behind it to clear it to the feet of Ollie Johnson on the right touchline. Killock on the overlap tries to pick up the return pass. There's an enormous collision between Killock and Stephen O'Halloran. All the players on the field now, bar the goalkeepers and Ben Parker involved. Shane Killock's down, he's taken a blow to the head. O'Halloran was straight up on his feet, standing over the Guiseley man. He was furious about the challenge that was made. I don't know what the referee's going to decide here. I'm really not sure whose foul that was. It was a 50-50 ball as Killock raced onto it on the overlap past Ollie Johnson and the 1-2.
It's a 50-50. This is a 50-50 and the Stockport fans want to make as much noise as they can to try and get him sent off. It's a 50-50 tackle. Both men are going for the ball and the Stockport County players want to run up to the referee and try and intimidate him. This is not a red card, but I'm not sure. The referee seems to have a card in his hand.
Well, Shane Killock's hurt and he's on the ground and the referee's looking to card the Guiseley defender. We don't know what colour it will be, but he's waiting until he sees whether Shane Killock is able to continue in this game, until he's up on his feet before he can bring the card out. In the meantime, the two captains, Ben Parker and Jamie Milligan, have been sharing polite words. They weren't too animated. Ben Parker now speaking to the far linesman. Killock's getting up.
I don't believe it!
And he's been given an appalling red card there by the referee, Neil Sharp. We absolutely don't agree with that decision. Well, the course of this game has been changed 6.5 minutes into the second half by a very poor decision, I'm afraid to tell you, by Neil Sharp. The home fans here are obviously delighted with the decision that's been made. Guiseley, in the meantime, are already rearranging. Jake Lawler's already lining up alongside Danny Ellis, and between him and Ben Parker in the Guiseley defence. But it does mean, Tom, that with more than 33 minutes of this game remaining, Guiseley are down to 10 men defending a precarious 1-goal lead.
Yeah.
In the most awkward of circumstances.
And that's how a game can change. What I'd like to say is this: both players have gone in for the ball. There is no effort by Killock to injure the player. And in the end, Killock's actually the one that comes the worst off. He actually has hurt himself. And the referee, I just think because of the melee of players all running at the referee, I think the referee feels like he's got to make a decision. He's got to pull a card out. In my opinion, I actually wouldn't have given a card for either player because I think it's a 50-50, but the referee, he deems it as 2-foot tackle, and the crowd are delighted because they know that they've got a great chance now of getting something from this.
Jamie Milligan takes the free kick just inside the Guiseley half. It's in the edge of the area with Chris Sharp. He's trying to turn to get the shot away. Ben Parker's in there trying to clear it up. He does so, but only gets it as far as Sharp on the edge of the area. First time cross in field, headed away by Danny Boschel. Only as far as Jamie Milligan. Guiseley very deep on the edge of their own area, but fortunately it's loose through to Stephen Drench, who collects it with both hands. In the meantime, the substitution was made on the 53rd minute as well. Andy Holdsworth comes into the game to replace the goal scorer today, Nicky Boschel. So that gives Guiseley the extra defensive midfielder, but now losing one from their attacking lineup. The lineup at the moment then is Danny Ellis and Jake Lawler in central defence, with Ryan Toulson and Ben Parker either side. And then Danny Boschel now has Andy Holdsworth sitting alongside him. Very experienced defensive midfielder and defender in there, but it does reduce Guiseley's options going forward. Now Gavin Rothery on the left and Ollie Johnson on the right are the only ones available to support the lone striker, Adam Boyes, as Stockport move the ball around in defence, passing it forward. Gavin Rothery drawn out by the Stockport man is Chris Churchman, plays it square to his defender, going out wide to Mark Lees. Stockport moving it around. In fact, it's Jamie Milligan over there on the right-hand side now. Lees on the ball. No, sorry, Scott Spencer even. Spencer receives the return pass from Milligan. He's on the right-hand edge of the area up against the Guiseley defender. Lees now has it, turning on the edge of the area, trying to get away from his man. Barrels Ben Parker down in the process and wins. The referee, Mr. Sharp, gives a free kick to Guiseley on the edge of the area. This is going to be very difficult now for the rest of the game, Tom.
Yeah, and it just shows you one decision, one moment can change a whole game. And you know, the way that Guiseley were playing the first half, they were able to take advantage of how far Stockport were getting forward. Now they won't be able to, because Jake Lawler, Danny Ellis and Andy Holdsworth, they're going to have to stay back. They're going to have to make sure men stay back. You know, and I just feel it's just one of them where the referees made the decision, and you're not 100% sure why. It didn't look like a red card, in my opinion, and I just think it's such a shame if that's the way the game's going to be changed through a decision which you've got to deem controversial.
And Bradford Park Avenue now 2-0 up against Harrogate in that game. Gainsborough 2-0 down at home to Barrow. As this game continues, Stockport bringing it out from defence. Milligan back all the way in his centre of defence. He really does get all over the pitch. Very influential, the Stockport captain. It's now on the edge of the Guiseley area. Stockport trying to fashion a chance. This time they come out left. Very poor communication between the players, though. Gifts a throw in to Guiseley, which they will hope will allow them to relieve the pressure. But we're only in the 11th minute of this second half. There's an awful lot more still to be played. I do want to go back to that challenge. What happened was Shane Killick had been out on the right, mopping up in the defence. He'd been charging forward with it, played the 1-2 with Ollie Johnson. The ball was just ever so slightly ahead of the Guiseley man, which provided a tempting opportunity for the Stockport defender who was coming forward, O'Halloran, to come on to, as there's all sorts of bodies getting tangled up here. Halfway into the Guiseley half, this time it's Andy Holdsworth who's penalised, but honestly there were 3 or 4 challenges that could or couldn't have been a foul. The one that he's blown for there, the referee, was the least of them that could have been a foul, and Jamie Milligan gets ready to ping another ball in to the Guiseley area. Stockport have all but 3 of their players inside the Guiseley penalty area. As this ball comes in, it's easy for Drench to get under with 2 hands, keeps his eye on the ball, collects it. The return ball that Killick received from Ollie Johnson, just a little bit between the 2 players. They were both on the ground trying to win it. They came in at enormous pace and they thundered into each other, and it was a real collision. Killick obviously much the worst hurt of the 2. Or maybe O'Halloran didn't notice the pain because he felt he'd been wrongly done by. He was straight up on his feet, standing over the Guiseley man who was down in a lot of pain on the ground. And to be honest, our first thoughts up here were, gosh, I hope those 2 players are okay. I don't think anybody up here in the press box thought we were going to see a red card or anything like it for the collision that took place. As Stephen Drench has to come well out of his area to tidy up as gaps are opening out on the pitch. I think the signs are that it's starting to show that Guiseley have 10 men. They were unable to keep possession up there with Gavin Rothery and Adam Boyes just crowded out of possession. It's going to open up gaps on the pitch as the game goes on, as Stockport make their first change of the game. It's Chris Churchman coming off 13 minutes into the second half, and he will be replaced by Nathan Wolfe, who obviously has cult status here amongst his fans.
I've got to just say though, going back to that previous, what just happened with Steve Drench, he gets the ball, and I know a lot of goalkeepers would just boot it out of play and just get it out of play, but Drench, he's got that confidence. He's able to just kick it off the Stockport players to make sure it get guys to get the throw in, and really good play there by Drench, because what it means is A, guys to get possession back, but B, it means that there's just going to be a couple more seconds where Stockport aren't pushing forward, and it just gives Guiseley a little breather.
It's an awfully long time to defend a 1-0 lead, isn't it? And Guiseley have some decisions to make. How deep do they drop? How much do they try and get the ball forward? Or are they really going to try and hang on for 30 plus more minutes of this game? The score stands at 1-0 to the Lions. Stockport have had the vast majority of the possession since Guiseley went down to 10 men, and they have it now on the right-hand side with Danny Gregson playing 1-2s with Lees, who's basically been camping in the Guiseley half since that sending off, as has his opposite number on the left, Andy Owens. Stockport really not needing to leave many back to defend. There's a speculative ball, looks for Ollie Johnson, it's easy to collect, and Andy Owens brings it forward on the edge of the Guiseley area. His ball is poor, straight to Danny Ellis, who can't control his clearance, and the throw-in that Stockport will get will be about 15 yards short of the Lions penalty area, taken by the substitute Wolf. Back to Milligan. Milligan forward, and received again on the left by Wolf. Stockport forced into using their defence, taking their time in possession here in this move. Forward towards the edge of the area. Andy Holdsworth collects it for Guiseley to Adam Boyes, who's the furthest forward Guiseley player, and he's not even as far forward as the centre circle. Now to Andy Holdsworth, who's cannoned into, and no foul, says the referee. Gavin Rothery has it at his feet. He's jinking past 2 or 3 players, but he's got no one to pass it to at the moment. Has to stop, turn back, trying to keep it in. In the end, frustratingly concedes a throw in there right on the edge of his on the edge of the pitch. I thought we could just about keep it under control for a few moments longer, but instead Stockport have it back. And that's the problem, Tom, is that for all the invention and trickery of Gavin Rothery and all the persistence of Andy Holdsworth there's just no one up there to pass it to at the moment. I'll take your thoughts in just a second, because Scott Spencer moving towards the edge of the area, infield to Chris Sharp with his back to goal, out wide to Owens. Owens' ball into the middle, poorly controlled by Danny Boschel, concedes a soft corner really to Stockport County. Every single Guiseley player, including Adam Boyes, now tucked back inside the penalty area, and every player besides Danny Hurst deep into the Guiseley half. Milligan to take the corner, he does with his left, out swinging, headed away, it's bobbling around across the face of goal, chased away by Ben Parker. Parker's got Gavin Rothery outside him, but no one further forward than that. Rothery picks it up on the left touchline, looking for Ben Parker on the overlap, but it's loose, and Guiseley can't afford to gift away possession like that. In the meantime, Toulson and Lawler have moved up cleverly to spring the offside trap against Scott Spencer, who's baffled as to it's Richie Baker who's baffled as to how he's been caught offside there. But a huge relief for Guiseley.
Yeah, and I think you just noticed that since that red card, the Stockport County fans, credit to them, have been making a lot of noise trying to G their players up, because they know now that with just half an hour to go now that Stockport are going to be throwing men forward, they're going to be throwing the kitchen sink at Guiseley. And the problem is that Adam Boyes, who's normally left up on his own, he's having to drop back a little bit to try and do a bit of defending as well. And what it means now is whenever there's a long ball thrown forward by Drench or a defender, it's just going to a Stockport player and they can start their attack again.
Yeah, it's going to take a real rearguard effort by Guiseley as a challenge goes in by Danny Boschel on a Stockport man, comes clear to Adam Boyes, who actually has a shot and had much more time than he realised to take himself a few yards forward and get one-on-one with the keeper. Instead, what's happened is Stevenson has the ball out wide to the substitute Wolf on the edge of the area, back to Stevenson inside the Guiseley area. It's actually to Baker, who has another shot, bobbles wide of the goal. And that's what can happen for the rest of the game, Tom. Guiseley there through one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Boyes wasn't expecting the opportunity, snatched at his effort, and on the break, Stockport's men over, having all of these defenders forward. So dangerous for Guiseley.
Yeah, and just going back to the Guiseley effort, Adam Boyes, as soon as he hits that shot, I saw him, he just put his hands on his head. He couldn't believe he had so much time and space to say that we're a man down. But then Stockport, then this is what's going to keep happening. They're just going to get forward, get as many men forward as possible. And again, Guiseley, it's back to the walls job defending and just able to see that go out for a goal kick.
Honestly, I wasn't sure that the challenge that went in from Boschel wasn't a foul. To be honest, it looked like more of a foul than the one that led to the red card for Shane Killock, as we hear that Fylde are now 2-0 up at home to Stalybridge. Long throw taken to the feet of Adam Boyes. He's on the right touchline, having to turn back. His ball towards Toulson's loose, and Toulson gets another chance at it. Charged down with a handball by the substitute Wolf. And Guiseley have a free kick about 20 yards into the Stockport half. Leamington 1, Hensford 1 is the latest score there. And so Ryan Toulson has a free kick, just being spoken to by the referee, being told where to take this set piece from. It's deep, it's It's about 15, 20 yards into the Stockport half, quite close to the touchline in front of us in the main stand. And he's going to be trying to curl it in, looking for Ollie Johnson or Adam Boyes. It's a very, very weak free kick, only matched by the weakness of the clearance from the Stockport defender, and it gives Gavin Rothery a chance to run against Lees on the left, and he beats the Stockport man and then turns back as he reaches the end of the pitch and the touchline, jinking around, trying to find his way past before eventually winning a throw-in. Really good work by Rothery, sticking at his task as we hear the latest score. Solihull 3, lowest off 3 in that game.
Wow.
Ben Parker's come all the way forward from defence to take this throw-in. He's got choices of Gavin Rothery and Andy Holdsworth, who are trying to get themselves free, and Adam Boyes. No one obvious in a yellow shirt to take the throw too, and so the fans here are getting impatient as Parker takes his time, but when he does, he takes the return pass from Rothery, almost makes himself space to get across into the box, manages to win the Lions another throw in the process, which he will take. And again, Rothery looking to get himself in space to receive this, and Andy Holdsworth, the fans growing restless, and I think the referee is going to go over and yellow card the Guiseley captain for taking too long to take the throw. Honestly, it was about 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It was about 15 seconds that the ball was in the captain's hands there while he's waiting to find a throw. The referee knows he adds on stoppages at the end of the game. I'm always really irritated by yellow cards for that, because if he's held it there in his hands for 30 seconds or a minute, then you're starting to say it's time wasting, but he's just trying to find someone to throw it to, as any player would. It's not to do with the 1-0 lead, because you're not going to waste 15 seconds at this stage of the game.
And I think it's one of them as well. It's the first time Ben's actually been put in that position where he's had the ball, he's trying to find an option and there weren't any. And the referee, it's about 15 seconds, books him for the first offence.
Approaching the halfway point in this second half at Edgeley Park on Guiseley AFC radio. If you're just joining us, Guiseley are in possession. Boyes with his back to goal, lays it off to Ollie Johnson, but of course there's no one else to pass it to at the moment, and we'll explain why in a second if you're just joining us. Clever little turn on the spot by Johnson, finds a ball back through to Boyes. Boyes with a shot! Through! First shot! Straight past the goalkeeper Hurst into the bottom corner of the goal. Unbelievably, against all balance of play since going down to 10 men, Guiseley have scored a second. Could that be crucial in the course of this game this afternoon?
Boise, you beauty. 2-0 to Guiseley. Ollie Johnson with some fantastic work. He's got about 4 men around him and he just breezes past them. A fantastic pass. Adam Boyes gets into the area and he gets it past the keeper. 2-0 Guiseley. We may be a man down, but we've got that second goal. Come on.
Well, that was wonderful quality by the two Guiseley strikers remaining on the pitch. Ollie Johnson had been forced away from goal as the centre kick, is taken by Stockport to restart the game. Johnson had been forced away from goal. It was a lovely little turn on the spot that made him lose 2 Stockport markers, and he managed to find Adam Boyes, played the ball just perfectly so that Boyes could turn from his back to goal to turn onto his right foot and shoot all in the same motion, and Boyes didn't fluff his lines that time, rolling it past Hurst into the far corner of the goal to give Guiseley the 2-goal lead. And honestly, that was their first opportunity since going down to 10 men, and they have another one now as Ben Parker on the overlap crosses it across goal to Ollie Johnson. He's inside the area with one defender to beat, plays it inside to Adam Boyes, but cut out brilliantly by the Stockport defender, and Stockport try and to make a break of their own now. Striding forward is Lees on the wide. Brilliant counter-attacking football by both teams at the moment. Cross comes into the area. Ryan Toulson has to clear it carefully under pressure from Andy Owens, and he only makes it as far as Lee Stevenson. We'll bring you in just a moment, Colin, once this passage of play comes to an end. It's Richie Baker now on the ball, out wide to Mark Lees. Lees is on the touchline, in field to Baker. Stockport know they have to chase the game now, that with 22 minutes remaining, they are 2-0 behind against 10 men. They're going to have to get a goal, and soon, if they want to get something from this game. And it's on the left with the substitute Wolf. Floats it into the area. Easy for Danny Boschel to clear, and he's taken a kick to the head. A slightly high boot from the Stockport man as Boschel stooped to head it clear. And that gives me a moment for the remainder of this game to bring in on commentary Colin Robertson. Colin, good luck, mate.
I don't know if I can take this. Last 22 minutes to go. Guiseley 2-0 up, but down to 10 men. The sending off in the second half of Shane Killick, which we don't want to dwell on too much anymore. Certainly looked to have a good degree of controversy about it. We'll put it that way. Leave it there. The Lions have had a lot of work to do, though, in this second half and have got that second goal there through Adam Boys. Now Stockport on the ball, looking to get an immediate response. They'll know they've got time. 20 minutes yet in this game to certainly turn it on its head with 10 against 11. And the man with a throw on the left-hand side, Andy Owens, tries to chivvy things along for the home side. Good tackle comes in from Ollie Johnson on him. Owens now steps to take a long throw back level with the edge of the 18-yard box. Looks to launch this one into the area. Steps back to the railing behind him. Guiseley have bodies all inside the 6-yard box and on the edge of the 6-yard box as this one goes in towards that area. Helped away by Danny Ellis. Ollie Johnson working his socks off tonight. Gets the ball out to Adam Boys. Adam Boys with a good bit of trickery. Gets the ball away here to Ryan Tulson. Still inside the Guiseley half. He plays it to the sole man up front. Not even anywhere near Ollie Johnson in the end. And O'Halloran will collect for the home side. Milligan now, the captain, trying to lead his side forward. Sends a long one forward towards Wolf. Well cut out, though, by Ryan Tulson. It'll come back, though. Stockport of blue shirts swarming forward now and inside the Guiseley half. And press now here as they look to get past the defence with Scott Spencer. The ball did seem to actually rush against Nicky Boschell's, not Nicky Boschell's arm, because he's gone off the field to play. Andy Holdsworth's arm, I think it was. But it's back up to the halfway line now. Here with O'Halloran. Chips the ball down the left-hand flank. That's an awful lot for Nathan Wolf to do here if he's going to win this one. Ryan Tulson tries to leave this one to go out for a goal kick. Wolf sticks to his task, gets a touch on it. It'll be a Guiseley throw in the corner flag.
Good play there by Wolf just to make sure that it goes out for a frame rather than a goal kick to Guiseley. But got to say, I thought that was handball. I think it just brushes his arm, and it's a weird one where the fans didn't really fully react to that one, and yet I thought, that should be Stockport free kick.
Flick on from Ollie Johnson. Adam Boys gets a touch, but actually gives it back to Stockport. Milligan sends it here to Owens. Owens from left back presses towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Good tackle comes in from Danny Ellis. Danny Boschell takes over. Gives the ball here to Ollie Johnson on the halfway line. Ollie Johnson over that halfway line is unable to get past his man. And bundles his man down with a rather unconventional tackle from Ollie Johnson. But he was being pushed at the same time as the gesticulation that Nick certainly put in towards me on the left-hand side. It was an advantage. All right, sorry, that was the complaint. And eventually. Anyway, Stockport now with the ball on the left-hand side. Wolf gets it into the area, header away from Danny Ellis. We are going to be looking all to our left as Stockport county attack this Guiseley goal, I'm sure, in the last 20 minutes or so. Here, Andy Owens now on the ball for the home side. His cross blocked well by Danny Boschell. The ball chipped away. Nerves certainly beginning to kick in here. I tell you what, with 18 minutes to go, I just am counting that clock down and look at it every 2 minutes, and it seems to have only passed 20 seconds. Stockport County now on the ball here with Nathan Wolf down this left-hand side again. They seem to be attacking this area of the field. Ollie Johnson gets a tackle in. It takes a deflection off Wolf and goes behind for a goal kick.
Well, I completely agree with you there. I thought about 5 minutes had gone in the last 20 seconds, but yeah, really good play there by Ollie Johnson. I mean, Ollie Johnson, the last 10 minutes, the amount of defensive work he's been doing has been fantastic to see. He's been getting forward, then having to get back every time, but he's happy to do that, and he does well. Make sure the ball goes off Wolf. Tulson hears the shout from Johnson, that's ours, and just lets it go out for a goal kick.
Goal kick's taken by Stephen Drench up to the halfway line. Ollie Johnson can't win that ahead of O'Halloran. Thundering header from the Stockport man. Headed on, though, and out into touch by County, and Guiseley have a throw just about on the halfway line in front of Mark Bauer. Hunched shoulders, perhaps feeling the cold, certainly feeling the tension as Guiseley look to try and use up a few seconds here. Ryan Tulson certainly taking his time with this throw. It's a long one from Tulson up towards Adam Boys. Owens lets it go past him, and eventually it's helped forward by O'Halloran into the edge of the centre circle. Milligan now takes over for Stockport County. Guiseley will have to resume their defensive positions. Milligan inside the centre circle sends it to the left flank, where Owens comes up from left back over the halfway line now. The defensive lines of Guiseley mean that Nathan Wolfe takes the second phase, keeps going with the ball, but gives it square to Lee Stevenson, and Adam Boys battles hard to try and win the ball back, and then eventually Ryan Tilson with a thumping challenge gets it all the way back into Stockport territory.
And I think we are at that time now with about 15 minutes to go where if guys have got the ball in their own half, they're just going to get it forward, just waste as much time as they can doing so. And, you hit one of them forward with the likes of Boys and Johnson, trying to get forward as often as they can. They might be able to pick one of them up as well.
Chris Sharp now for County with a loose ball that gives Guiseley possession back here. Danny Boschel into Adam Boys. Adam Boys plays Ollie Johnson in. He's ghosted round the right-hand side. He's 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. 3 defenders closing him down. Ollie Johnson takes it past. And into the back of the net! Oh, Ollie Johnson has completed a remarkable second half here with Guiseley getting a third goal with 10 men on the counter-attack. Ollie Johnson ran half the length of the pitch there to get on the end of a lovely little ball through, found space and slid the ball past the goalkeeper into the bottom left-hand corner of the net, and it is now unbelievably Stockport County 0, Guiseley 3.
Well, it all comes from a Stockport mistake, and the last 2 goals, it has been a case that guys have just been able to take full advantage of a misplaced pass. Adam Boise holds it up, and I didn't know whether he'd seen the run of Ollie Johnson. He had. Fantastic pass. Ollie Johnson gets into the area. He's scored a few goals for Stockport lately. He's scored one here today. Fantastic goal.
Well, there's a good number of Stockport County fans actually walking out from the right-hand side of the stand behind the goal there. A good number. Most are obviously staying here. There's a good degree of disaffection, I'm sure, that their side have been playing 10 men. They've been caught with a sucker punch. Brilliant finishing from Ollie Johnson, great finishing from Adam Boys. Guiseley now 3 goals to the good against 11 men Stockport, with only 10 men. Guiseley now resume their backs against the wall position, because Stockport certainly will still feel something can happen there. 14 minutes left. If they can get the foothold back in the game, it could be difficult. Long ball forward from Ollie Johnson. Adam Boys up against centre half on a one-on-one this time. Well defended there from Daniel Gregson, gets the ball away. If you're just joining us, Guiseley 3-0 up here. 3-0 against Stockport County at Edgeley Park. That would be remarkable enough in its own right, but they've played most of the second half with 10 men and have now earned a free kick on the left-hand side with Gavin Rothery being bundled over.
I'm surprised how many are leaving. I've got to be honest, obviously most are staying here, but to say there's 15 minutes to go, you're facing a team with 10 men, and although you may be 3 goals down, Stockport have been creating chances throughout this half, and if they could take one, they're back in it with 15 minutes left on the clock.
It's a 3-goal lead, but it's not. It's still it could be on a knife edge, couldn't it? 1 goal back in, like you say, gives them momentum, changes shape, and it would be a different task altogether. And even at 3-0 to the good, with 13 minutes to go, I'm sort of not sitting here comfortable that we've got this job done. Not at all.
I mean, we're always not comfortable at Guiseley Radio, but I mean, we've got reason to not be comfortable with Killick being sent off. But it is just the case now that if Guiseley can just pick them off like they've been doing, then we've got a very good chance, a very, very good chance indeed.
So still, the Lions lead 3-0. 10 men Guiseley, 3-0 to the good here against Stockport. 2 wonderful second half goals whilst down to 10 men have really shown the efficacy of the strikers against the limited opportunities they've had, and brilliant counter-attacking movements. And as you'd imagine now, Stockport will throw the dice here. Jordan Fagbola will be coming on, and he will replace Chris Sharp. That is Fagbola, isn't it? Who's coming on? So we've had a change, and there's a bit of a difference between It is Jordan Fagbola. I was going to say there's a difference between us and the tannoy, and I was just looking to check myself. Guiseley now with the throw in anyway, up in the left-hand side of the Stockport County half, just by the corner flag. They retain possession. They hold on to the ball with the 10 men trying to just keep the ball away from Stockport. The ball goes forward into the penalty area. No offside flag against Ben Parker. It looked like he might have stolen the yard, but he's got the ball back, laid it back here to Boys. Now we're here with Ben Parker. Infield to Ollie Johnson. Ollie Johnson, who's tremendous skill in the middle of the park, led to the second goal. And then superb skill here from Rothery to keep the move going. Ollie Johnson now on the ball. Stockport County not able to get a touch at the moment. The ball over from Danny Ellis is towards Adam Boys, headed away. Ollie Johnson wins a second one. Boys gets first to the second ball, flicks the ball out to the left-hand side where Rothery chases to try and win it. Does so just ahead of Mark Lees. Up towards the touchline. Rothery under pressure. Goes back to Andy Holsworth. Infield, loose ball from Andy Holsworth. And now Stockport County can come on the counter-attack here. Guys, you need to get the bodies back. Andy Holsworth ball could cost dear there. Fagbola now just inside the Guiseley half. Chips one forward. Finds Milligan. Milligan square here to Stevenson. Stevenson left again. Fagbola, the substitute, takes it down. And he's on the left flank. Gives it back to Stevenson. Stevenson chips it into the area, and Owens, who is looking to get on the end of it, is crowded out, and the ball goes back to Stephen Drench.
I've got to say the substitute of Chris Sharp surprised me a little bit, because I actually thought he was one of the better players when it was getting forward. But I think it is just a case that Sharp's come off, Fagbola's going to come on. He offers maybe a little bit more height, but it may be a little bit of worrying time for Guiseley.
Yeah, as ball's gone out because Stephen Drench has got a knock. Actually, Ben Parker's got a knock in the face there, and they've thrown the ball out to allow Ben Parker to have the treatment. Something in the eye by the looks of it. I don't know if he's had a knock in the eye or a knock in the face there. Guisey will just take a couple of moments. On the bench, of course, is Jack Stockdill, Alex Johnson and Luke Porritt. So no real ready-made defenders to drop in. Of course, you could drop Jake Lawler in if Ben Parker did have to go off and bring in a substitute like Jack Stockdill into central midfield. But Guiseley, 3-0 to the good if you're just joining us here at Edgeley Park. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and what an unbelievable second half it's been, because first half Guiseley went in at half-time and quite rightly ahead, and then the red card happens, and you just think Stockport, they're gonna win this game now because they're going to take full advantage. But Guiseley, they've been really clever. They've defended in numbers, and then they've been able to take advantage of getting them on the break.
The throw is returned to Stephen Drench, and the pressure now on Stockport County to get a foothold back in this game. The Lions 3-0 to the good here at Edgeley Park with 9 minutes to go. Up towards Adam Boys. Boys and Gregson challenge for it. Gregson wins it. Back to the goalkeeper, Hurst. Hurst clears well with his feet and sends it to the halfway line. Now Milligan. Milligan, crossfield ball towards Fagbola, who takes it down, doesn't direct it in the direction of Wolf. And guys who come away with it now with Ollie Johnson. Ollie Johnson coming forward, scorer of that magnificent third goal. Gives it to Adam Boys. Boys goes towards the edge of the 18-yard box, away from goal. Gives it to Danny Boschel, who's ventured forward. Lovely little reverse flick of the ball to give it back to Ollie Johnson. And guys, you're just trying to hold on to possession in these last moments. Loose ball there from Danny Boschel. And it's back here with Lee Stevenson. Stevenson clears. Danny Boschel collects the loose ball well. Now in a bit of a tussle with Richie Baker. He wins a free kick from Baker. And Guiseley have a chance just to slow this game down again.
Yeah, really clever play there by Danny Boschel. He's just basically inviting Baker to push him to the floor, and that Baker accepts the invitation.
Danny Ellis actually takes a quick one, gives it to Adam Boys. It's a bit more adventurous than we thought originally, but Boys just takes it back on the chest and plays it back infield, and Guiseley back into sort of passing the ball, holding on to possession as much as they can. Andy Holdsworth on the left-hand flank now as they attack this. Not so much attack this Stockport goal, just try to frustrate this Stockport side now. 6.5 minutes to go. Guiseley leading by 3-0 here at Edgeley Park. And they've been playing the second half mostly with 10 men after Shane Killick was sent off. Rather controversially for a challenge on the halfway line, which looked real 50-50, but might just reserve judgment on it, to be honest, because I just cannot see how it was a red card at all. And now Guiseley then scored 2 very clinical counter-attacking goals to make it 3-0 in the second period. A couple of scorelines as well in Vanarama Conference North. Boston 1, Brackley 1, and now it's Fylde 3, Stalybridge 0. Fylde, of course, coming to Nethermore over the Christmas period.
I was just going to...
Sorry, Tom.
No, I was just going to say Ollie Johnson and Fagbola have just had a bit of a foot race there.
Now a good ball over the top there towards Fagbola, and it had to be a good lunge to prevent the ball getting through to him. In the end, Guiseley clear, and there's a free kick anyway on the edge of the D.
Yeah, Fagbola and Ollie Johnson had a bit of a foot race near the Stockport end, and I've got to say, Fagbola just beat Ollie Johnson, but when you work out, Ollie Johnson has been running up and down for the last 80 minutes. Fagbola's been on about 5 minutes. It just shows you the determination and effort Ollie Johnson is putting in today.
Natural pace and skill, hasn't he? He's really put one heck of a performance in today, and scored one, certainly at the heart of the second, scored the third. Guiseley lead 3-0, 10-man Guiseley, and now there's a chance here for Ollie Johnson to get onto the ball. Andy Holdsworth is screaming for it, making a run forward. Guiseley look, of the two sides, I have to say, without sounding overconfident, more likely to get the next goal out of the two teams. It's remarkable, really.
I just think when you look at it, that Stockport, in a way, it looks like some of their players just are thinking it is a finished game. They're not going to get anything out of it. And guys, they their heads are up and they're making the extra yard. They're making the runs for the lost causes.
Throw comes in to Rothery inside the penalty area. Rothery gets around 1-2 defenders, struggles to hold on to it. Eventually is beaten away, and now Stockport can come on the counter-attack here with Andy Owens, playing on the right-hand side here of some midfield or attacking 3. He's tackled by Holdsworth. Stockport win the throw. 4 minutes to go, plus stoppages. Ball square here to Nathan Wolfe. Crossfield as Stockport come over the halfway line again, now with O'Halloran up from centre half. O'Halloran square to Wolfe. Guys, get their 2 banks of 4 into good shape, good order. In fact, it's more like 1 bank of 4, 1 bank of 5 almost, with boys coming back to do such defensive duties. Everyone in the Guiseley half, the Lions working hard to repel this Stockport side, and they eventually get the ball into the area with Milligan. It goes up towards the back post. Fagbola makes a stretch for it, but way beyond him and behind for a goal kick. And I have some sympathy with Stockport fans. They must be deeply disappointed with the way their side have turned up this afternoon. But what a great performance it's been from Guiseley. Certainly in that first half, we were so on top. And
And to be honest, I think the second half has been more impressive, because with 10 men, Guiseley, you could see Mark Batty was getting into the players' heads. Don't panic. We're a goal up. There's no need to panic. Just keep the men back, and we'll get them on the counter. And that's exactly what's happened. 2 different sort of performances in terms of the first and second half, both really impressive. And with not that long to go, hopefully 3 points.
2.5 minutes to go. Looks like the Lions will make one last change. Not quite sure who it is coming on. Is that Stockdale who's going to make his way? Or
I think it's Stockdale, yeah.
Is it Luke? Yeah, it's Jack Stockdale who's going to be coming on. It's not just yet, though. Guys, he take a throw in. It goes into the Stockport half. Good header on from Andy Holdsworth. Well dealt with here, with Milligan now trying to dictate some final passages of play, perhaps get Stockport a goal back into this game. 3-0 down at home, their first league defeat on the cards since that opening day defeat to North Ferriby. And Guiseley have certainly tarnished a record that was very impressive this afternoon, and so far doing that with 10 men for most of the second half when it was just 1-0. Stockport, though, come forward, looking to see if they can change their fortunes with a remarkable last-minute, ditch goal or 2. But at the moment, it really doesn't look likely. They really don't look like they can break us down, do they?
No, and when you've got their 2 centre-backs passing it between each other, you can just see that they're not rushing. They're 3-0 down. They're not throwing everything at us. And it just feels like maybe their managers just said, let's write today off, we've lost it, move on to the next one.
Wolf on the ball now for Stockport Square. And comes for Daniel Gregson to have a run forward, gives it to Mark Lees. Mark Lees in towards Owens. Owens stretches for it but can't reach it, and it's back here with Stephen Drench. It's really been rather pedestrian, hasn't it, from them since the third goal went in. They've really not been able to get any headway or head of steam up, and a tremendously professional performance from Guiseley at the moment.
Yeah, and
now they've given the Lions the ball here. Adam Boyce tried to play a reverse pass through to Ollie Johnson, and the ball eventually cleared away. So it's been one of those afternoons. A throw-in has been given to Stockport in good position, but Hyde 1, North Ferriby 0
Wow.
is a scoreline, a final score. So that's a heck of a score. Now, Stockport with a shot from the edge of the 18-yard box, and it was Nathan Wolfe, but it was really sort of ironically clapped by the home supporters here, because it's straight at the goalkeeper, and I think it's the first thing they've sort of mustered for a long period. 90 are up. We're just waiting to see what's going to be added. Jack Stockdale's waiting for his chance to get onto the field, and it's going to be 4 more minutes to be added on of injury time. Jack Stockdale will make his entry, and I would imagine he'll come on, I presume, for Danny Boschel, I'm going to say. No, actually it's Ben Parker. There we go, what do I know? So Jack Stockdale on for Ben Parker, who possibly could be the choice, because his left back is the furthest away from the subs bench, so we'll have to. And Ben Parker comes off. Tano again must be missighted, and let's just called it as Danny Ellis. But Guiseley take the time. Ben Parker receives a firm shake of the hand from, I have to say, smiling Mark Bauer down there on the bench.
Well, he's got every reason to be
absolutely delighted, mustn't he?
Yeah, and I think I've just got to say, Ben Parker coming off, he did take that little knock to his face. Maybe that's the reason why, just as a bit of a precaution, because he didn't seem to have any effect with that. But just, yeah, Mark Bauer's got a big smile on his face, and so has everyone else in the Guiseley colours.
Ball now with Nathan Wolfe. Wolfe looks forward, plays one over the top, or aims to go over the top. Danny Ellis, absolutely imperious this afternoon. Good firm header and gets that one away. And then Adam Boyes battling hard inside the Stockport half, gets the ball and tries to feed it in towards Ollie Johnson. 3-0 into stoppage time. Guiseley played the second half mostly with 10 men after Shane Killick was sent off. Less said about the decision, the better. We're really not convinced. Indeed, we're not even convinced of the merits of a yellow card, let alone the red, but that's for another day. At the moment, Guiseley are leading by these 3 goals deep into stoppage time, with Stockport finally trying to get a ball into the area, but there's a counter-attack on now, and it's led here by Boschel, gives it to Ollie Johnson. Ollie Johnson just takes his time, slows down, doesn't go for the fourth. Danny Boschel and Ollie Johnson combine. Ollie Johnson with a man swiftly on him. The ball is out. It's finished here, Solihull 3 as well, Lowestoft 3. They were 3-1 up with Solihull Moors against a 10-man Lowestoft side, and so don't know quite what's happened there in the second half in terms of decisions and sending offs and what have you, but that's a tremendous effort from Lowestoft. Guiseley now pick up the ball 30 yards from goal. Infield here from Toulson into Boschel. Cleared, and Stockdale has to battle well to win the ball away from Owens, and he does so. And then a firm clearance from Jake Lawler, playing at centre half now, and it's all the way back to Danny Hurst. 3 of the 4 have been played, so the final minute. I'm actually beginning to feel confident we might just win this now, Tom.
You must be joking. Are you confident?
3-0 up with the final minute of added time to play. Nick's now berating me, saying 4-3. And it looks like we're going to have another substitute if we can get him on in time. But Stockport actually have broken down the defence for once, and a shot comes in there from Mark Lees. Actually, it was direct at Stephen Drench. It was more a half chance, really, no more than that. And Guiseley defend it well. And Ollie Johnson gives it to Danny Boschel. Boschel goes back to Ryan Toulson, who'll loft it long towards Adam Boyd. He wins the header again. Stockdale's chasing it, and eventually Stockport win it back here. Milligan in the centre circle. Good ball over towards Nathan Wolfe. He chests it down, sends it in towards Owens. Guys who get it away, and then a shot from distance. A superb strike comes in there. Cannons back off the underside of the crossbar, headed out for a corner. Scott Spencer it was, and it was the best effort of the afternoon from Stockport County, and that really should have resulted with a goal. A stupendous shot really from distance there from Scott Spencer. Corner taken, headed away by Guiseley, and the final whistle goes, and Guiseley have had a superb afternoon here at Edgeley Park. 1-0 up at the break after Nicky Boschel had scored in the opening 10 minutes, but in the second half Stockport County rallied. It looked like it was going to be a tough afternoon. It certainly looked like it was going to be an impossibly tough afternoon when Shane Killick saw red for a what looked like a 50-50 challenge from where we're sat, and he saw a direct red card for it. After that you thought guys who were really going to struggle, and it was going to be a tough time, and for a long period it was, but then Adam Boyce struck a second on the counter-attack on 66. A brilliant strike crafted by Ollie Johnson in the original move, and then Ollie Johnson himself on the counter-attack ran half the length of the pitch and applied a cool finish to put the ball in the bottom left-hand corner, and the Lions got the third. After that they just killed Stockport County's ambition, killed them dead really in terms of their performance. Finished up here, Stockport County 0, Guiseley 3.
You talk about a complete performance today, that was it, because the first half Guiseley, they showed so much attacking intent, should have got a couple more goals really. The second half, backs against the wall, got a man sent off, and the counter-attacking football and the relationship between Adam Boyes and Ollie Johnson, the way that they played throughout this game was fantastic to see. Danny Boschel's dancing, everyone's smiling. What a fantastic result for the Lions.
Absolutely superb. Just finally, the Vanarama Conference North final scores. Boston United 1, Brackley 1, Chorley 0, Colwyn Bay 0, Fylde 3, Stalybridge 0, apparently still playing there. Gainsborough 0, Barrow 2, Harrogate 0, Bradford Park Avenue 2. Listen to this, Hyde 1, North Ferriby 0. Leamington 1, Hensford 1, Solihull 3, Lowestoft 3, Stockport 0, Guiseley 3. Let's see if we can get the final league, or the current league table, just before we go off air and attempt to get the views of Mark Barrow, who must be happy with what he's seen this afternoon. Barrow still top, yes, 18 matches played, 42 points. Guiseley still in second, 38 from 20 games. Fylde, of course, continue to press up there, 37 from 18 games. So Fylde, of course, played 2 games less. Chorley, 35 from 19. Solihull, 34 from 19. Stockport County remain sixth, 31 from 20. Boston and Oxford City can't capitalise today. It's a bottom where Hyde have now brought it up to 10 points from 21. Gloucester 15 from 18. Stalybridge in their bottom 3. They're 16 from 20. Brackley and Park Avenue and Leamington 4 points above them. What an afternoon we've had. Thank you for joining us here on Guiseley AFC Radio. We have had a tremendous result. Stockport 0, Guiseley 3. 10-man Guiseley scoring twice in the second half when they played most of it after Shane Killick was sent off with just 10 men. We'll see you again next Saturday for the big FA Trophy game at home to Chorley. Thanks for joining us.